Incoming transmission.
Welcome to Saving Star Trek, a show talking about one of my favorite shows, Enterprise. I am Linda Park. I play Hoshi Sato and also Empress Sato. So enjoy this show. I love that it's finding a whole new life on the streaming services. And you better hit that like button or Empress Sato will not be happy. I mean, she could make a storm happen, and she could really make your life hard. Anyways, enjoy the show, hit that like button, and thank you for being a fan of Enterprise.
Hello, sirs and madams. Welcome to Saving Star Trek. It is Stardate 1213.25, which means we're only a couple of weeks away from the 60th anniversary of the big TOS drop. The anniversary year starts in a couple of weeks. Real anniversary, not for about 9 months. It won't feel real till that happens, but we'll be breaking all sorts of barriers here. And we have a great episode for you tonight that we just watched live a little while ago over on Germs. Germ, the Soong trilogy, as all good things, must come to an end.
Yeah, but it came to an end in a very good way. Brent Spiner didn't overact. He wasn't a complete jackass, and was actually enjoyable.
It was a familiar story riff. We had seen this one before. Not so much Wrath of Khan, maybe Wrath of a Contractor. It was fun, though. This one's a lot of fun. Look, if you're over on the vertical stream, here's the deal. That stream is like, what they put a phaser to me and they said, Teag, sir, you're going to have 2 streams. So for tonight and for the maybe a little while longer, we're going to do the Mars on Saturday. I think by next Star Trek weekend, we'll be able to go landscape on this one. But I do like the discoverability, and I welcome anybody watching over there. You know what? You come on over to the landscape stream. Now, on the landscape stream, we have a couple of goals. The first one is to get 30 likes. It's very important to me. And personally, it validates me. Germ, what is it like when I don't get validation?
A little ranty, a little ravey.
Delusional, perhaps?
Yeah, a little
some
bit
might say
too.
Some might say crossing the line from sublime to madness.
Definitely.
You know what? I need the 30 likes. Here's the good thing. If you're coming through later, you can be part of it too, because if we do get to 30 likes, it'll turn on the afterburners and everyone will hear our Star Trek conversation. And it's a damn good conversation. After all these episodes, we have been all over the place with the story, but it has come back to a really cool place. And I want to say hello to Buddy Hepburn, who's out there, and the Dead Man, as well as Kal-El. Hello, sirs and madams. It's great to see you all. And you know what? I said to Jerome before the show, I've got to put on the jet hat. If I don't put on the jet hat, like I'm out of uniform, right? I need, like, especially during the season. Why should I get to walk around and not be ashamed?
Yes, Jets fans should wear that like a scarlet letter.
I feel that I have the right to wear this hat and that I don't have the right to talk about the Jets if I don't. Would that be kind of true?
Yeah, to a point.
And if I wear this hat enough during the week, they may win.
Not likely.
I would say I'd sleep in it, but never put a hat in the bed. Guys, they made these replicants. I mean, I'm sorry, they made these augments, and they have got all sorts of problems, sirs and madams. I think first, though, we should recap what happened last week on the show. Here to recap the show for us, to congratulate me on 3,000 subscribers. We have a very special guest who I'll bring on in a moment. But Germ, first I'll let you congratulate me on 3,000 subscribers. Was it impressive? Were you shocked? Actually, I still have till the end of the year to hit your prediction.
You hit my prediction already.
I thought this was the under. I thought this was the under. You said 3,000 to 5,000. Oh, you said 5,000 by February, right? When was 5,000? June?
And that was next year.
Guys, I think I could do it this year because I looked and I made the 2,000 stream November 29th, 2024. So 3 people a day all year, and I put on like 13 people just yesterday. It was great. Welcome aboard. We have 3,013 ships in our fleet where we have a voice in Star Trek, and we have caught the attention of the people who seem to be the front runners for the next Paramount contract. All indications Kurtzman out. All indications that Sussman is going to get some fuel and some oxygen. Maybe not some nitrous yet, but they had him on Trek Culture, which means now Star Trek United has been accepted by Paramount. New Paramount. And Paramount is no longer Paramount. Paramount is now Skydance. And I guess we didn't have a Paramount stream this week, Jerm. We didn't have a chance. Did you hear the big story out of Paramount, the HR crisis that happened when the guy, David Ellison, had a conversation with a strident and punitive conversation where he raised his voice and he told one of his vice presidents that they damaged the Teenage Mutant Ninja brand and like tossed his Coke on the ground and like walked away like angry? Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that one.
All right, so the guy went to HR on David Ellison, and he said, "Sirs, madam, whatever you want me to call you, Mr. Ellison, he was mean to me. He yelled at me. He told me that I devalued the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." So they called Ellison, and the first thing after he fired them was he called the person to his office, and he had a meltdown, and he yelled at them. And he told them that he didn't care about their fucking feelings. Get out. And if you don't want to work here, I don't fucking care. What do you think of that?
Tried to rat on the boss.
You know what? The boss was that they're trying to send the new boss to like Me Too City or something. Like, guys, you're not going to send the new boss of Star Trek to Me Too City. I don't think it's going to work. That's a very 2019 move. If he tells you that you screwed something up and it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you need to stand there on the carpet and absorb it. This was how it was always done. And the only time that people weren't yelled and screamed at for huge failures in Hollywood would have to be during this period of terrible movies. Germ, do you know what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle project she got yelled at for was? Do you remember the one with Seth Rogen?
Yes, Mutant Mayhem.
It I thought that did devalue the Turtles. How about you?
It devalued the Turtles quite significantly.
So David Ellison knows what he's talking about then, doesn't he?
Well,
Right,
yeah,
he
he
the
has
fight
two
on.
eyes, and anyone who saw that movie can see that it was devaluing to the franchise.
You know what? If you're like 70 years old and out of it, you're not going to get it. Ellison's like 51 or 45, somewhere in there. Also, the thing that people are complaining about, listen to this one. He has a tech bro attitude, Germ. He's not concerned about their whittle feelings. He said,
There may be hope after all.
people came after him for being too negative, and he said, people are going to perform and I'm going to fire him. I don't care. How's that for crazy?
The way it should be.
Now, we've also heard that he wants more family-friendly movies and more friendly movies and more approachable Star Trek. And I don't know what he means by family-friendly and if that means, there's a slight difference, right? Family-friendly and fun for the whole family, they don't mean like family movie, right? Family movie is a really specific thing. Right now, I guess David is a family movie.
Yeah, David from Angel Studios would be considered family-friendly family movie.
Mutant Mayhem was a little bit edgy and not too friendly to your family if it was heteronormative, wasn't it?
It wasn't friendly to anyone who had two brain cells to rub together.
Was it to the point where you didn't need to know the Turtles was plain old hard to watch? I had no interest in Seth Rogen.
It was dripping with Seth Rogen's autism.
I've had enough of his humor. I've had enough of the deadpan delivery and the it's like you know what? It's almost like you like animation a lot. I'm going to say something to you and you tell me if I'm not right. He's aged out of it now, but maybe 10 to 15 years ago, it's as though somebody made Barney Rubble incarnate, right? Is that not Seth Rogen? He's Barney Rubble.
Yeah, that's a good way to put him.
All right, well,
brain damage.
Weird New Jersey accent, wherever the hell he actually is from. All right, so listen. Last week, we had part 2. We started this journey 2 weeks ago with Borderland. The second episode was called Cold Station 12, and now we have reached the Augments. Here's the deal. We have made contact with the Augments. You like that wordplay?
Good job.
We've got puns for you all night. We've made contact with some Augments. What we found out was ancestor of the guy who designed Data and Lore, Arvik Singh, is a genius who lives in a super prison because he was once the #1 geneticist who ran Federation Cold Station 12, on which are stored an untold amount, a treasure trove of augment babies. Hello, RRTNZ, my friends. Sir, good to see you, buddy. And hello to everyone. We got Star Trek on tap for you. We're talking right now about the Augments. We just gave a quick update on what's going on at Paramount and how they don't care about your feelings anymore. And now we're rolling into the early thoughts on this episode. And we're going to recap a little bit previously on Star Trek. Previously on Star Trek, there was a movie called Wrath of Khan. Previously on Star Trek, we had a lot of novels in beta canon about Cold Station 12 or someplace like it. We had a lot of stuff about Khan, and they don't change much with the lore here, but they do bend it to new technology just a little bit and make it non-jarring to people of the very early moments of the 21st century. But like this episode, I guess it obviously we're capping off our Wrath of Khan sort of like mirror here. And this episode is very Wrath of Khan, and honestly, it's very fun. I like this episode. It was a good cap off to this. We spent enough time developing people. Like, I know who Persis is. Do you know who Persis is, Germ?
Who's that?
Persis is the female augment. He was our leader now. You are our leader now. He leads us. That chick. The chick who is the dark-haired girl. She's our lead female augment. Abby Bramwell, our lead female augment.
They did a real good job making sure people knew what her name was.
And I have a new theory, guys, sirs and madams, for what's going on here. The Augments, their acting is too good unless the director is an A+. And you know what? Regularly, we're getting likes now on this show's tweets from Michael Sussman. And we have reached 3,000 subscribers. I think that it's time that we understood that we're going to have a voice in the rebuilding of Star Trek. We don't want to tell anybody particularly what to do, but I would say this. There are hundreds, if not thousands of videos, different videos of Gene Roddenberry over the years. And one constant thing he would say would be, and Star Trek is, in part, it's part of the fans. Partly, it's part of the ownership is the fans. The fans own Star Trek. He said that all the time. So we have a receipt from the original creator. However, it does come with some limitations. We can't so much call the shots, but for instance, remember Deep Space Nine's first 3 seasons, Germ, and the fans' reaction to the show?
I remember their initial reaction.
Can you paraphrase?
They got over it kind of quick.
Heard? Not that quick, but what was the thing you heard?
Paranoia, hatred, disgust.
Well, I mean, you got a bunch of DEI hires. Yeah, I mean, sure. No, the thing that people with Deep Space Nine, there's a lot of very controversial. But with Deep Space Nine, what the fans were saying at the time was, please just give them a ship and have the guy be a captain. And can we get a few more characters on this show? Because it's not that interesting. And by year 3, what happens?
They get a ship.
And they start calling Cisco captain. And they get a few more interesting characters. And they gave him a few more interesting characters. They got Worf. They got Alexander.
They got Alexander for a grand total of 1 episode in that series.
Doesn't matter. You opened up the TNG milieu a little more. Hey, the Dead Man, thank you. I like the irony that Angel Studios' David is taking on Hollywood Goliath with a movie about David. I do think it's one of the best bets this holiday. Although the review I saw of it was this. I saw a review from Pops. Check out Pops. Pops is great. He's a friend and a colleague. Pops, and let me put a Dead Man's chat on screen. Thank you, Dead Man, so much for the generous $4.99 US super chat. I did look at the animation for Angel Studios. I'll let Germ sum up the artfulness of the animation. I, for one, was impressed, but Germ, go into detail on this one. What did you think? Describe the style and how you felt about it.
The style is very noticeable for a lower budget. It is clear they don't have the resources of, say, Disney or one of these other big studios, but it's very watchable. The story is classic. They hold very true to the actual biblical story. Anyone in Western civilization should know the story.
In the Bible, God wore his red Converse that day. Is that in the movie?
It's very enjoyable to anyone who is not outwardly offended by the outward religious context of it. And for the animation, you notice it the first 3 minutes, and then it's just like watching any other movie. I highly recommend you go see it. It debuts on the 19th, opposite the new Avatar movie, which is, like the other two, a whole bunch of crap.
So you've watched enough of this movie to say that after acquiring a taste for the animation, for lack of a better term, you'll be acclimated and you'll just be able to watch it?
Yes, you'll acclimate quite quickly to it. It's good TV level animation.
Familiar to people who know lower budget stuff, so they don't have as much money. So what do you mean, less frames?
More of the style. It
looked kind of Pixar-ish. Yeah, it looked very Pixar-ish.
Yeah, that's the style that you usually go to when you don't have the budget. But you'll quickly get past that. It's a very classic story.
It sounds
and
like
I'm sure if you have a choice between this and Avatar, go with David. You'll have a much better time.
Now, here's the thing I found out from Pops. It's a much more singy, songy movie than he thought. There are a few more songs than he was ready for. So my guess would be closer to a Prince of Egypt in tone. And you might have a real good 1-2 Old Testament double feature with those two.
Yeah, it's no more than what you got in, say, 90s Disney.
And this is like an Abrahamic story that pretty much any religion can like too, anyway. It's like it's not far back in the Bible. Like he's in like 2 major Abrahamic religions, if not all 3.
Yeah.
And you know what? A good testimony to ranged weapons over, stabby stabs. Hey, what's up, Lombardi? Good to see you, sir. It's good to see you. Oh, Acolyte! I got it right the first time. I rarely get off an awesome clap like that the first time, but I was just like sitting in the right way that I could just like slap my arms together. To do the Clap-O-Lite clap, you have to like turn in your chair somewhat because I have to get the full arm extension or I can't. Everyone who's heard me miff it, there's a reason. There's a reason I miff the Acolyte clap. So anyway, Let's to do last week on Star Trek. We have a special guest here to recap our last episode, Mr. 47. Sir!
Don't mention the light bulb.
The lights in your office flicker every now and then.
And that's basically all you need to know about last week's episode, right? I mean, we go to we go to Cold Station 12. It's built onto an asteroid. The station looks great. It's interesting to behold. And on there we have, for some strange reason, we have a lot of augment, like embryos. And we're not going to get into the sanctity of life too deeply, but they skim the surface of it lightly just to put it out there so you can think about it. But they don't spike the football on either side of the debate. They just kind of put it out there. It's like, maybe their lives mean something too. It's like, we'll think about that later. And it's like, okay. You know, just like you sort of tease an ethical thing there without jumping in with both feet. I can handle just tugging on the edges of the ethical issue, because the real ethics in this one is going to be, should you make a designer human? Basically, he wants to take it one step further and almost make them replicants. He's going to make them docile. And he's going to undo all the mistakes of the other mad scientists before him. And to this I say, you're a madman. You can't fix those replicants. They were made of like proto-matter or something like that.
That's just what every mad scientist says he's going to do. They don't actually mean it.
I can change them. So let's see.
Previously on Enterprise.
Jonathan Archer.
I just think that Jolene has a fantastic speaking voice. What's weird about this one is it's like Cold Station almost didn't happen. 85% of this previously on is the previously on for Cold Station, and only the last few seconds of it are from from Cold Station, and only the last few seconds of it are appropriate to be the beginning of the Augments, because most of this is from Borderlands. Almost 70%, maybe 80% of the opening previously on is from Borderlands. And here's the thing. The previously on needs to be properly done. It needs to be properly edited. It has to be a good representation of what happened in the episode. And it always is, although sometimes it has alternate shots, alternate takes, or alternate dialogue or narration that unifies things from maybe different takes. Hello to you. Oh, hey, Chucker Martin. It's good to see you, Chucker. I'm sorry. That one is like, I got my glasses on tonight. And you know what? Maybe if I just move the StreamYards over here, it'll be better. This way, I won't have to look at my computer, which causes terrible lens flare. Sirs and madams, I was told that if you leave your contact lenses on for like weeks and weeks and weeks, it's really bad. Germ said to me, sir, you can't wear your contact lenses for 2 weeks. Remember that conversation?
Yeah, I remember that, and I was quite surprised you weren't blind.
I was pretty defiant about it, wasn't I?
Yeah, it was almost insanely so.
Yeah, I was wrong about that, sirs and madams. I can't wear contact lenses for a couple more days because it was a really stupid mistake. Don't leave your lenses in too long. Use only as directed. Anyway, what do you call it? Here's Arvik Singh. He is kind of a jerk. He's smug. He's a genius. He is key to this. Everything in this swirls around him. In the episode Borderland that started this, we found out that he is a full-blown mad scientist, and they are generational mad scientists in the Soong family. How the hell he has any children is beyond me. The only thing I could think of is at some point, like 20 years from now, he appeals to the Federation Council that he has a right to procreation because he's a genius and they make a clone of him. What do you think?
Well, that's possible. There's probably no end to the women wanting to be a jailbait bride for him.
I mean, to be fair, there are now like hundreds of billions of people. So maybe there's someone out there for everyone. But and you know what, Jerm? I can't believe you can't. You're saying that people haven't found love in our prison system, when you know full well people like Booty Warrior, Fleece Johnson have brought love to many. But he's a full-blown mad scientist. They never mention his family. He's got the same last name, and it's Brent Spiner. It has to be the guy who created Data. And we said in Borderlands that he was at the edge of his dramatic range, but not beyond. He wasn't over his skis. This is as far as you can go with Brent Spiner. Hey, RRTNZ, 3,000 New Zealand pence, or I'm sorry, 10,000 New Zealand pennies. Thank you. I will get to 10,000. Thank you, sir. I think, or is it 1,000? I don't know, Jerome. It's 1,000, isn't it? All right. This episode is less Wrath of Khan and more Aguirre Wrath of God, but still enjoyable. Malik meets a deserved fate, while Soong then invests in the Tyrell Corporation. Spiner's performance is an A+. RRTNZ, I absolutely agree with you. This episode is got a lot of Wrath of Khan, but the first half, they are borrowing from Blade Runner, and it's sort of like he's bargaining with. They're a little more reluctant than replicants, but the thing is, he did raise them, and he was only taken away against his will. He didn't abandon them, so they call him father, and they don't have any problem accepting him as their father, and they actually have some affection towards him. With superior intelligence and abilities comes superior ambition, but they don't live without love. They're capable certainly of lust. We've seen Malik has taken the woman away from, he has taken Persis away from their original leader, and now he also he kind of loves but resents Brent Spiner, who only has pop psychology on them. He could get his head popped like a zit by these guys at any moment. Germ, tell me about the strange relationship between Aravik Singh and his children. Is it 19 children?
I think it's closer to 9, at least to that they feature.
There's 13 on the ship when they scan it. There's 5 or 6 that we feature. Smike dies. He's gone already. Raphael or whatever his name is, Rakim, he's gone. He was the first leader. Malik has supplanted him, and Malik becomes that rarest of all things, the augment who gives up command for a moment, and once he's tasted it, he doesn't like not having command. For the episode Cold Station, we basically just, I guess it would be called Regular One. And guys, this is a really good story, the last week's story. It's a good episode too. Everyone rated it highly, and everyone really enjoyed it. And you guys also rated it really highly and really enjoyed it. But it would have been called Regular One, wouldn't it, if it was Wrath of Khan? It's just what would have happened on Regular One.
It's pretty close, yeah.
So in that way, I'm going to call it inventive. And thank you, RRTNZ. You're a great friend. Hello to everyone. John, did I say hello to you? I said hello to Trucker Martin. Guys, tweet out that we're live. And if you're on the vertical feed, of course, come over to the regular feed. On the landscape view, there are no ads. And you know what? We have cookies, which is something that he can have. But one thing he can't have is technology. He has been given technological capital punishment, for lack of a better term, Jerm. Is there a better way to put it?
No, that sounds pretty good.
We don't have the term Black Hatter yet. That does not really cover what he does anyway. Would Black Hatter really cover what he does, or technical arsonist better?
Black Hat, it's fine.
You think so? He can do both. He can do technical chaos, or he can black hat you. You don't want him near your transporter. You don't want him near any technology. He's allowed to have a pencil and paper, and he writes his ideas down, and once a month they take them and they tell him that they memory hole all the stuff and burn it. I think Section 31's got it. What do you think?
That's probably a guarantee.
Although we don't hear about them in this show, do we?
No, they haven't introduced them yet.
Oh, we do, right? That's Malcolm. Malcolm's not Federation security. He's Section 31.
Yeah, but we won't find out until the last 2 or 3 episodes.
Maybe we forget about that episode arc, but that was a really good story. Like, that was good acting from, is his name Dominic Keating, right?
Yes.
I keep wanting to call him Anthony Montgomery because it's such a British sounding name, but Anthony Montgomery is our pal, Mr. Prideweather. So there you have the traits of Noonien Soong. He's about as smart as Spock, but not like the parlor tricks, the fancy instant recall and memorization. But he speaks Klingon, and he's sort of like, I don't know, he's one of those guys who's like kind of cosmopolitan even for the future, and he's mocking to Archer.
Yeah, that's one of his many, many flaws.
Augments.
And here's our augment. This is Abby Bramwell. She's hot. I love this actress. I love this augment. She's really gorgeous. She also is great with the physical acting. We just don't know what to say. Our new theory, as we stated earlier, it seems to me most likely the augments are people from musical theater because their parkour and acting is both really good. Either that or this is super well directed because you can't catch the doubling. Germ? Most sides in 1 and 2.
I think it's mostly them. It's they are physically
Really
capable.
gifted.
So I think they may have been taken from stage.
And of course, the guy who is our main bad guy, Malik. Do we see him here? Malik is from the Borderland game. His IMDb was pretty impressive. This guy has like 400 titles. I'm guessing he came out of musical theater or something. His acting is too good, and physically, he's a badass. So the Previously On is really well done. It's got really good specific music for the Previously On, and it just goes seamlessly into this week's episode, which is what we do pretty much every Enterprise multiple episode arc since we started this season. Stormfront does it too, right?
Might have.
I'm pretty sure we do. By the way, I checked. We do not get the tease for the beginning of the next 3 episode arc at the end of this one. They don't do that. We're going to end this one with a sense of resolution, and I guess closing the loop and having closure every 3rd episode is definitely good enough. This is going to end up being a pretty tidy story. And in this one, we have how long can pop psychology keep these raging replicants at bay? The good news is they're as strong as Khan, but they haven't been super educated. These are discount replicants. These are discount augments. Germ?
Yeah, it's a good way to put it. They're
just
lack
as strong.
experience.
They
They
might be
lack
backwards.
formal education. They're very intelligent. They just don't have the experience or the book learning that Archer has, so he can beat them.
Here's the thing. They're able to be technically about up to speed fairly quick because their educations seem really uneven. One guy's like a math genius. One guy can handle computer systems. One guy he made one too many guys who had leadership like all over them. Like they're all supposed to be great leaders, but I guess a few of them are maybe coded to be scientists or something. I don't know. And then you got Smike, who just didn't work out and got off to end the second installment. In our second episode, they went back. It's called Cold Station 12. The reason Soong is in jail in the first place, and we've got Klingons jumping in and out of our first 2 episodes. The reason why Cold Station has the augments is because it's far enough away from Earth. What the hell is on Cold Stations 1 through 11 if this is what's on 12?
You probably don't want to know that.
Cold Station 12 pack. Anyway, I do love the location. I do think it was a good middle story. It was not bloat. It did not waste time. And this is where I'll ask the $1,000,000 question that the whole panel gets asked. But Germ, into the great unknown, you go first. Because of the way the Enterprise writers approach their final season, do you think that they are maybe, and maybe even their last 2 seasons, are they perhaps uniquely qualified among writers in today's world to do streaming?
They may be. The whole blocking off into separate arcs would have an advantage in today's streaming world.
Knowing
So,
how to
yeah.
knowing how to have a 23 episode arc and only revisit it enough and have it manifest just enough every episode, and when to lay off of it and when to go back to it. They manage
could
their
be an
Zindi
advantage.
season very well. They manage their Zindi season better, in my opinion, than JT feels. JT has feelings that the Zindi should have been one event, self-contained. And I can see how if we had gotten it that way, we would never have questioned it, and it probably would have been great. What do you think? Like 10 straight episodes of the Zindi? But I think we would have gotten Zindi Overdose. What do you think, sir? A better, more compact tale or Zindi Overdose?
It was a bit of overdose for the whole season, but they
So
did
if we
break
had-
it as well as they could have.
So you're saying concentrated, like just distilling it to crack and taking out everything else, including space crack, would not have helped. It was better the way they made the right choices.
They made the right choices for the time frame they're in. If they're making it today, it would be different, but for the way things were back then, that's pretty much the only way they could have done it.
All right, so our pal Sussman's involved, but this is, I think, more Metalis, and I think Manny Koto has a presence in this one. We've got some original people still hanging around, and we got Berman and Branagh, like they got their names on this, but they're not doing as much work as they had. Largely handed this one off, and the last thing that they did was the end of season three, which threw us into a season 1 story that it had to be handled. They didn't want that to be a season long story. I thought the story they made out of it was quite good. It wasn't the greatest, most fantastic Star Trek story. As everyone said, we could have done without it, or we could have done it at a different time. It was poor choice to do it when they did it, but it wasn't a bad story. I think everyone here would have preferred that the season ended with the first few minutes of Home. What do you think? At least the Armada?
Yeah. That would have been the best way to do it, but Braga had other ideas.
And it was a little unfair considering he wasn't going to stick around to fix the mess, because if people hadn't have thought outside the box and they really didn't have the feelings that they could do that for a season, I could only imagine being prisoner to someone else's story. So it could have gone far worse. They got 2 good enough stories out of it considering their hearts weren't into it. And they sort of, at this point, what we're doing now is we're having heavy injections of Star Trek we've seen before, and they're not trying to top it. They're respectfully doing something that's before member berries. I guess it's proper fan service. And we're seeing in a couple of these episodes, especially in Stormfront, we saw like they just sort of took the DNA of 5 different Star Trek episodes and let it run sort of amok. And it managed to get them out of that story they didn't want to have cleanly enough and still tell a good story for 2 episodes that wasn't terrible. I know a lot of people didn't like it more than me. You didn't care for Stormfront at all, right, Jerm?
No.
You don't. You're not one of the people who thinks that moving it could have saved it, huh?
Never could have saved it, no matter where you put it.
We're of the opinion still that season 2 is unfixable too, right? But we could have improved it by moving episodes around. They did that too much. Not enough unity for our crew.
Yeah, season 2 was fixable.
Improvable.
Very much so. Yeah, improvable. pretty easily. So more so than season 3.
Well, season 3, you wouldn't have been able to undo it. It was stylistically designed to be one long story.
Yeah. But with a couple of improvements, you could have easily made season 2 much higher quality.
We had talked about this, and the thing I said was just by reshuffling the story order and having some of the episodes that have the crew together up front to give us a sense of unity, because we didn't have a lot of that in season 1 anyway. We had just started to like know our crew, and then it's a side quest to Paul. Then it's a side quest for Linda Park. Then it's a side quest for Just Archer. Then it's a side quest for Mr. Reed, or whatever it might have been. And it was just like, by the middle of it, like, we didn't know what they were trying to do. And their season 1 to season 2 shockwave thing doesn't work at all. It didn't work at all.
Yeah, they have trouble transitioning from season to season.
They miff it every time, and they miff their finale. They're not on good enough terms with their network, and they're not getting enough attention from the public to do anything as far as they're not making so much noise that people are saying this crew is so good we want to see them spun into a movie, and also they're not going to end up extending the show. So we had a good previously on, and this week when we find out very quickly, we get up to date. Captain Archer has to do basically the mission from Aliens. He's got to go from this contained lab into a really huge, shaft, get in there, access the computer terminal, take the station's containment fields, put them back online in some way that'll keep the viruses that are stored in Cold Station 12, where they have bad things, and they have resolute warfare, so to speak. And the Augments plan when they leave is flood the station with it so that no one can follow them, and to take out the people behind them. And also take some with them in case they need it. They have some reverse Genesis devices, people. They have a reverse Genesis device. So, like I said, Borderland, Cold Station 12, the whole episode would have been called Regular 1. It's everything from Wrath of Khan that we didn't see when Khan was going crazy trying to get the information, except that someone's holding the leash of the Khan type character. And of course the Augments, they're noticeably immature. They're younger than Khan, and they're younger than Ricardo Montalban was when he played Khan in Space Seed. So that's different here. There's a lot of them, but not as many as Khan ultimately has against Kirk. They have their own much more dangerous ship, would be the thing that they have to put them on equal footing for our NX crew as Khan's people were for that Enterprise. Although the idea that they would take over the ship, it's not going to happen. Archer thinks these guys are freaks, and he knows what they are right out of the gate. And he's not going to be nice to Soong and let him have access to a computer either. He mostly keeps him in the brig. And through episodes 1 and 2 of this 3-part story, he's sort of flexing that, I have your leash. And Brent Spiner is sort of, he may have had what we would call clowning and miming skills. That's why they made him Data. Germ, do you know who was number 2, the runner-up for Mr. Data?
I can't remember that.
They were looking for someone to play Data, and they said, "Sir, we think this guy should play Data." And Gene Roddenberry looked at the actor, and he said, "You ain't found shit." Do you know who that actor was? It was Tim Russ.
Serious, Russ was number
Tim
2
Russ
choice.
was supposed to be. Yeah, Tim Russ was the number 2 choice. And I'm going to say right now, thank God that it didn't happen, because I don't think that Star Trek would have liked having it. It just wouldn't have been fun. Tim Russ He's fine for the guy from Star Trek Voyager, which was always kind of a weird show anyway. I don't know how great he is to be, hey, and hello, Victor Fontaine over there on Rumble. I'm allowed to say hi now. Victor Fontaine, I set up the Bumble feed because he has a deep-seated just contempt for YT, Jerm.
I'm starting to understand his feelings.
Yes, is there life on Mars? If you're watching the vertical stream, there are no commercials on the landscape one. That's how I've decided to do this one. And when the landscape stream is no longer live, there'll be a commercial in the first 20 minutes and then like 1 hour. I want your engagement. I want your hearts and minds. I have no other mission but to save Star Trek. And you know what? This is the show that the original continuity might just get reestablished from. It's a great choice to go forward with Star Trek United because Enterprise sequel would not give Kurtzman grounds to rebel on them while still reestablishing the original continuity. Remember, Kurtzman has gotten further by suing than he ever has by being like a good writer. So they want. I think right now, if we were in charge of Paramount, our focus would be to get them the hell out of there.
Yeah, by any means necessary.
So what we have to do now is we've got to stop the containment fields from collapsing, not let the viruses into the entire ship. The entire station. And Archer is in the Death Star shaft, and he's, doing his best Obi-Wan Kenobi here. But he gets to the terminal, he isolates the control room so his friends will be safe. But the rest of the station's going to be flooded with bad stuff, and that could take out Archer too. And so they're like, sir, what are you going to do? And he's like, what, on my signal, blow the roof off this place. And they're like, sir? And it's like, just do it. And they don't really show us what's going on, but DePaul has figured this one out. Or she's ahead of Archer. It comes off like they're on the same page together. They cannot stop the viruses or whatever from flooding the entire space station. So they blow the roof off the central part of the station, and the atmosphere blows out into space with Archer, who they beam up. Everyone else safe in the control room. They beam Archer to the Enterprise, and I guess it's not that tough to beam the rest of them out. Archer reappears on the transporter pad, and I don't know how you want to call this one, Jerm. What did you think of their beam out of Archer?
Well, it was unique.
It looked
the
cool.
physics. Yeah, the physics don't really play out, but it looked cool.
He's a really good physical actor. Look at him here. Is that like his sex face or something? We caught him in a weird moment. He knew that they're gonna fire when the top of this silo comes off, whatever you want to call it. He gets sucked out into space, but he's beaming the moment by the time we see him exit, he's already like half energized. They have him. It's pretty cool. So for our sense of like Star Trek right and wrong, I'm going to say this wasn't really borderline. This was exactly how Star Trek should be. If anything, I don't know if he should have been freezing and shivering. That was maybe a bit too far in a few places, but it wasn't offensive either. It didn't break Star Trek either. What was your thoughts on the choice to have Archer? And here's let's see if I can get it for you.
I said it looks okay. Why he actually flies out is beyond me. They didn't turn off the gravity.
I think the explosive decompression takes him.
That'd have to be a hell of a decompression.
All right, so I was wrong. Let's see how soon they get him. All right, so he was
right
exposed.
As he's getting out of the oxygen.
Yeah, they get him before he would have been in the cone of it's down to like less than half oxygen, and like it's going to hurt him, but he's not going to kill him. He's about as messed up as he should be and as cold as he should be. I guess the ice and whatever, that was, I won't call it gratuitous. It was pretty cool that they beamed him. This was a cool beaming. And the lost art of incidental music. It's just, they're not going to do it anymore, are they, Jerem?
Well, no, they can't afford it anymore.
I
They
think
waste so much money
considered-
on what they call special effects.
Ugh.
And
We got
It's-
through like 2,000 years of new Trek without like one note of new music.
yeah, they're not talented at music for some reason.
I remember Wise Guy. It was a good show. It had Ken Wall, who's married to both Barbie twins, because the one he's married to says she shares her husband with the other one. It's not the worst fate, if you remember them from the 90s. They're pretty hot. But he was Wise Guy, and the reason I watched that show was because there was like 4 episodes with Deborah Harry. And she sings like 3 Deborah Harry songs in the show. So that was kind of cool. Not Blondie songs, mind you, Deborah Harry songs. But it was pretty interesting. She realized after that to stick to singing. She's never been a great actress. Thank God she didn't do Star Trek, even though she loved Star Trek and would have done it. All right, so little bit of a tension on the bridge of the Bird of Prey. Joaquin is like, Joaquin. Malik is talking to Dr. Soong, and he's like, Father, don't worry about Archer anymore. I deleted him. And Brent Spiner's pretty good. He flinches, and he's like, I'm not too happy that you did that, and you have to stop deleting people. Damn you. You have to stop deleting people. Next time you deleted someone, I'm going to punish you and send you to your room. He actually says the Teag pit, and you won't see the light of day for a week. But basically, I'm going to send you to your room. And it's just basically a rebellious teenager versus the parent dynamic. And Soong wins on, I guess what he's banking on and winning on is it's sentiment, a little bit of affection. They're not inhuman. They're derived from humans, but they're not inhuman. And they've got custom Levi's to be circumspect about it. But what can I tell you? He tries pop psychology, and on I Am Your Father, this feels very Blade Runner. This dynamic of their story. They put Blade Runner into Wrath of Khan to sort of get there without being beat for beat Wrath of Khan, because we've done Wrath of Khan a couple of times on Enterprise. Sim's funeral being the worst invocation. I don't know, Jerm, what do you think?
It's I really didn't have any problem with this.
This one is better. I'm saying, what did you think of Sim's funeral invoking it? Not good, right? That was not the greatest idea.
Nothing about that Sim episode was a good idea.
They had to. It saved them a lot of money for their high budget episodes. Does he do anything that the god of biomechanics would cast him out of heaven for? You know what? Is Soong? He basically is too much of a mad scientist. I guess the best way to put this one is in this Wrath of Khan mashup, like with Blade Runner. He put protomatter onto the replicants, and he basically tried to make augments, and he ended up with replicants. Is the easiest way to put it for me. Jerem, what do you think? A little too naive, a little too eager, a little too impulsive. They theoretically have like 125 years of life left. They're going to live a lot longer than you and I, maybe twice or 3 times. But these augments, not a lot of formal education, and with their superior ambition, without a teacher, not all of them did all of their studies. So only one of them can overhaul the weapons bay. Only one of them can figure out the ship's computer. Only one of them can reconfigure the bio bad stuff from the weapons development plant, where they keep the augment seeds, for lack of a better term. So he basically pulls rank on him and tells him he's not going to delete any more people, and he's like, okay, I'll be a nice person and I'll stop deleting people.
Clearly, that was a lie.
Here's Archer recovering in the sick bay from being beamed over to Paul and Reed concerned. And Phlox is just sort of there in this one. He doesn't do any of the science-y stuff. He doesn't explain augments. Like Brent Spiner's character does all that. The only thing with John Billingsley in this whole 3-episode arc that was substantial was talking to Soong in the sick bay. And you could have filmed all of John Billingsley's scenes in one day, couldn't you?
I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
He got way too much screen time in the last one, so they said,
really
sorry,
did.
You're here for an hour, then you're going home.
In Borderlands, he's a doctor, so it makes sense that he has the steady enough hands, but him firing the phaser was just like, it's weird. Whenever a doctor fires a phaser, it's a little weird. So he's like, looks like he'll be all right.
I think they were dividing up the recording crews, so they didn't have someone actually there to hold the phaser. And Dominic isn't with us today. He's over on the other crew across town. So, hey, here, you fire the phaser.
They easily could have platooned their resources and just said, we can do this shoot. This also could have been resource management. We know that they're underneath an enormous strain where they don't have the kind of resources that you're supposed to have for Star Trek. So, they, in my opinion, if this is resource management, like we can't afford Billingsley all the time. He was already supposedly a cast member with other opportunities. He's on like episodes of The West Wing and other big shows that are on at the same time as this.
Yeah, he's on quite a few other stuff during this time.
He's almost at the level of recurring guest. He's like Mr. Barkley on a little bit of steroids. It's shocking that they chose to do it with the Doctor. But I guess the Doctor had been such a big part of Voyager that they didn't want to touch that one again. Hard to say. But the Augments, man, this is the weird thing is this. At this point, Star Trek is on like 30 years. We'd all been watching it the whole time, and it had been watching us. And the weirdest fucking thing happened between about 1995 and about 2005 was that the Overton window of Star Trek clothes and real life clothes wasn't that far apart. Germ, did you ever go to a club and see people basically dressed like the Augments?
That was 1992 to probably 1999 in Seattle.
Where everyone dressed like one of the Augments. But with plaid.
A little bit of plaid.
A little bit of plaid flannel worked in there. Right, so the Augments, this is the weirdest thing. Everybody is wearing clothes from Old Navy. They're wearing the distressed nightclub clothes from Old Navy. And Brent Spiner is wearing this is what you wear to college clothes from the other side of the Old Navy. And it's weird to see all these more or less contemporary clothes, but it's not destroying. It feels like the future. Their pattern is too many thinking. They just wanted more life. You know what? RTN said they did want more life, and they deserve that more life. But I'm getting a call from the planet below, and you know what? It's JT Kirk. Sir!
Good evening, sir.
We have just recapped most of the events, and as you can see, we're about 15% of the way through the events of the episode Augments. Part 3 of the Soong trilogy. Is this the Soong trilogy or is this the Augment trilogy? I think it's probably more the Soong trilogy.
Well, he's in there more for 2 more episodes this season. So.
Oh, we do see him again?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Near the end of the season, it's I think episodes 21 and 22. It's right before the final story.
He's what Terra Prime breaks him out. They're like, "You're our kind of guy, Soong," and he's like, I'll make a race of Aryan robots.
It's immediately before that, yeah.
By the way, JT, we had a very special recap. I don't know if you saw the recap from previously on. Here's the previously on.
Don't mention the light bulb.
Do the lights in your office flicker every now and then?
I did see that. I did online. That was great.
That's our previously on. We're always searching for new jokes, ladies and gentlemen, scanning the wires. If we can
Did you talk
find...
about all the ways that it's like the Wrath of Khan yet?
We have been talking about how what they did is at this point, they have been shadowing Wrath of Khan to the point that we throw the hamburger helper of a movie that was in theaters the same month as Wrath of Khan, Blade Runner in there, and that what's going on here is that Dr. Aravik Soong, precedent of the guy who creates data and lore, is using pop psychology and sentiment to prevail in the ongoing coup that Malik is asserting, because Malik wants to be in control. I don't know what's going on. We've never hatched a bunch of augments and had them like talk about their lives. Until now, 2 augments have spoken. 2 and only 2. Khan and Joaquim have spoken. That is fucking it.
Right.
We have like 5 different augments talk here. It seems to me, and this was what we were saying to was our theory. I'm wondering where you are on this one. Archer wanted, they didn't want Archer squaring off against the exact same foe. They wanted to make it a little different. So it's not quite the Kazon. It's not quite the Kazon. They're not discount Klingons. The discount augments basically are, they're a lot younger. They have no formal education beyond what they got from Soong. And they have to get by with limited wisdom, much less than Khan had. Khan was like a statesman, a soldier, a scientist, a weightlifter, right? And they're just like weightlifters who are like super smart 9th graders.
I don't think they're discounts at all, though.
Well, what I'm saying is they have a different set of skill sets. They're much more like replicants than they are like the kind of augments that Kirk goes up against.
I don't even know about that.
Khan's got 3
I don't
degrees.
even know about that. These folks were raised in, in the current time, and in that time, they have much more present knowledge. You notice even that the bird of prey sneaks in behind the Enterprise instead of the Enterprise sneaking in behind the bird of prey at one point. And then we might be getting ahead of ourselves, but they know how to fly in 3-dimensional space.
They their tactics demonstrate 3-dimensional thinking. The thing is, they have a few weeks with their own spaceship, whereas Khan had a few hours, twice.
And so they're coming with all the present day knowledge, right? Whereas
some
the
of
Botany Bay folk are quite outdated, even though they're marooned on that planet.
Well, the equalizer on this one would be they swap species and they have a Klingon ship. So, like, slowing them down would be
is age. I think these being much younger than the other, than Khan and the other movie especially, makes them much more aggressive, like a youth aggressive sort of way.
Yes, they're very impulsive.
So in this, I don't consider them discount or lesser than at all.
See, I consider them
they're children,
but that's the discount element, that they're children. Also, we've divided the skills among them. Only one of them is sufficiently up to speed to fix the computer. Only one of them is sufficiently up to speed to tinker with the weapons. Only one of them. So I think that the deal is, like, Soong spent all his time hanging out with and educating them and like worked his 18-hour days and really tried his best. But at the end, when all was said and done, he spent more time with some than others, and like the one that was really good at computers, he just kept working on computers with him, and that one became like the computer genius. The one that was great at weapons, that one just like kept playing with weapons until they got great at it. And when he was gone with their superior ambition, they don't continue studying. He corrects them several times and says to them, "You should have read more of the books I left behind."
Well, you don't think the other augments from the Botany Bay weren't kind of the same?
It doesn't come into play because Khan gets up to speed and has about 2 days. He on their ship, and he gets to read all the schematics and stuff, and it's in a language he understands. With them, they have to learn Klingon and then hack the ship. Like, Soong speaks Klingon. He's going to help them once he gets there, but they take the ship on their own. So they've got to learn the operating systems. They've got to figure out the weapons, and they get competent. Like, they're flying around out there practicing a little bit. They're not crazy.
Well, I think that this way is actually fine because in real life, you have your people of all different talents and skills, right? Even the crew of the Enterprise. Oh, she has one set of skills. Tucker has another. And then, Malcolm has a third. And Prideweather, his skills we can't mention on YouTube. But
he makes a lot of money at the roadside stop. Hello to Miskatonic Madman, Eminem. Hello, sir. It's great to see you.
So to have the crew of, these augments specialize out like that, that's fine. I mean, baseline, they're better than almost any other human, right? Like they're in the 90th percentile on every single skill compared to regular humans. And then they excel in somewhere else. Now, when I think it's this scene where he tells Malik to go repair something and he says, well, I'm not an engineer. And then Soong looks back on him and snarls and says, you're a bright boy, Malik, figure it out. I think that means he's still smart enough to be almost Trip Tucker, even without any regular training. So also Klingon engineering tends to be more simplistic in a lot of ways from lines we've heard.
It might be intuitive.
On other Star Trek. Yeah.
They might make more intuitive stuff. Here's the thing. The augments are set up to be great on anything because they're going to get up to speed quickly. Like, exactly. It's exactly what Brent Spiner says. Like, you're a bright boy. Go figure it out. They haven't applied themselves. In 5 years, these guys are going to be super dangerous, but right now they haven't applied themselves. They didn't get disciplined. They were adolescents when he left for a pack of cigarettes. Malik's Eyes says RRTNZ with a very generous New Zealand super chat. In fact, you know what? I forgot to play my media for that. I have media for the New Zealand super chat. I have been remiss in my playing of the media. I apologize. If I could find it, it would help too. Brain, what do here we go.
Admiral Teag, incoming super chat.
Malik's eyes have seen things you wouldn't believe. Cloak ships firing on cold Station 12. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in... You're right. No, I think that they have they've gone out of their way to sort of... They aren't completely educated. They haven't been taught discipline yet. They're even more impulsive than Khan's replicants. You're right. I guess they're acclimated to that world's tech because even though they were left alone in a technical environment, and they're super smart, and they're at least just about high school level educated when he's like, I'm going to get a pack of cigarettes. I guess what happened was he went to get supplies and got caught. We never get the story of why he leaves and doesn't come back. We just know that he didn't want to leave them.
He was fleeing something, right? Probably fleeing the law at that point. They had caught up with him after he stole everything from Cold Station 12.
I need to go get some Trellium. I need it now.
Yeah, he was like, well, I'd rather leave them here because he didn't want them all to be exposed. So he is a megalomaniacal, whatever you want to call him, but he does have a parental instinct about all of these folks, and they don't see it necessarily that way. Maybe the actress here and her character, I forget the name of it, maybe she sees it that way, but they don't really understand why he left, and I don't know if they forgive him for leaving, which is very an adolescent way of looking at it. Where he is just thinking preservation of all of them. He doesn't want to leave, but he knows he had to keep them in seclusion.
Well, so their superior ambition, they threw a superior childish tantrum, right? Or at least Malik did. He's like, if I don't leave now, they'll take you all. You can look out for each other. You're brothers and sisters, but I have to lead the Federation away or they'll take you. So they're also, here's the thing. There's something that Khan isn't. They're a little bit scared of humans. They're paranoid and they hate them. Khan wanted to rule humans. They want to delete all humans. They have a reverse Genesis device. They also want to delete Klingons. And they're looking to engineer a Starfleet versus the Klingon Empire battle, which would be something. Germ, I see your note. How did you feel about this episode? We got Cold Station 12 was last week. We're ending off the Soong trilogy this week. Give us your grade before I beam you off.
I give this a high B plus, probably 89%, almost an A, but there was a few flaws in it that I couldn't just bump it up there. The incident with Archer and the being sucked out of the Jeffries tube, that broke my brain there for a second.
It wasn't very Star Trek-y.
Yeah, there's still the gravity. That part was one of them. The ending part, I know they have to set it up for him to go on to have the next generations develop Data, but I didn't like the ending for Soong, him back in prison. I would have preferred that he sacrificed his life somehow and we see a son that's going to carry on his work.
Well, I mean, he's gonna end up back in jail. We know that. And thank you very much, and thank you for hosting the watch party. You are a great and mighty co-host and pal. We'll be together some point during the coming week on the air, guys. The Great Resolute Germ, his channel's at the bottom of my homepage. You should sub his channel. What do you got this week for everybody?
Well, on Monday we have Critters 3, and tomorrow we have another episode of Landman.
Landman tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. for the big show. We'll talk to you later. All right, Germ, I'll beam it back down to the northern continent. Bye.
See you,
Bye,
Tom.
everybody.
Now, JT is wearing experimental technology so that he can leave the medical bay. He's a hologram, and they are doing infrastructure work on his part of Detroit.
They are. So if I randomly drop, apologies, everyone. But
it'll be Elon Omar's fault.
Yes. Actually, probably Rashida Tlaib's, but wrong squad member, right.
Both of them have great Star Trek villain names and great Star Trek villain fucking wardrobes in the case of Elon Omar. Elon Omar just dresses like she would be Khan's girlfriend.
And on her planet, it's legal to betroth. Well, never mind. Anyway, okay.
You'll be our others.
Yes.
She will be our other. And RRTNZ had a chance to meet James Cameron.
Oh, okay.
Here's a quick funny story. You know who wanted to meet James Cameron was the guy who designed the Titan submersible, and James Cameron called him an asshole and told him he didn't want to meet him.
Is the submersible that went floating?
When the tour becomes part of the museum, when the tour becomes part of the museum exhibit.
The more I look into that, the more I kind of would agree with James Cameron, which you don't hear from me too often. But hey, Dave C.
James Cameron said to the guy, "Don't use your submarine. It's insane." And he's like, "What do you mean don't use a submarine? I'm offering you a free ticket." And he's like, "Not on your life. I have terrible movies to make. I had a nightmare last night, and I'm going to make it into a 4-hour goddamn movie. Next one's going to be what? Avatar Firetown? Fuck that. I'm not going to see it." No pundits are bothering with it either. I think, what is Disney going to do? Zoe Saldana is not marketable. She and her husband sell T-Mobile phones. I mean, what the hell? So ongoing child and pop psychology. There's a family dynamic. This is different. We get how the augments relate to each other. This is more augments than we've ever seen ever in one place at one time. And it's kind of like a great performance by Brent Spiner in a different way than we've seen him. And back on the ship, we got a little interaction
Yeah, so
Paul.
this scene, before you
Let's get back
skip,
on the
if you
ship.
go back to him looking into the really cool sci-fi gene editing, whatever you want to call that.
That comes a little.
I
You're
loved
talking
this
about
conversation.
the Levi's, the way he's going to design his Levi's.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to do all sorts of things in this episode with DNA and stuff like that, and so we have to be a little bit veiled about it. And if we're too veiled, then we get in trouble too. So we'll just tell you what it is we're talking about. All right,
I
he's got a pretty nice pair of designer jeans.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Yes. Oh, of course. And the thing was,
he's going to get a based pair of designer jeans.
He will. He will. He will. The real silly thing was Malik. If he were even 5 years older, the conversation I feel like would have gone completely different. Malik is acting like he's about 18, 19, 11, 20.
Maybe 19.
Well, but think about
tops.
it. He's overly aggressive.
Think
about people that are the most hot-headed that you've ever known, the most think before or act before thinking, the kind with the most testosterone you've ever met in your whole life. That is what this person, that's what Malik is. Okay. So if he were a little bit older, he would have been more seasoned. I think Khan would have agreed with Soong here. Maybe, or he would have had a more articulate argument. But what Soong is trying to do here is
this is where Soong scolds him for not studying enough.
Right. Well, and so, excuse me. Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to do that. I couldn't get my mute button in time. When you
appreciate the effort.
When you look at Soong and Malik having this discussion over the denim conversation in the next shot that you had, it is really that he is telling Malik, look, it was done in the early infancy. All of what you are was the first go around, and you're not perfect. And we need to fix some things because the way that you all are is not stable and it's not sustainable. He maybe in a longer movie, he would have said, you can't build a society with people with your level of aggression because no one will be left standing. And
what they did has convinced him he thought he could, he still thinks if he had been allowed to raise them the whole time, that they would be emotionally stable and that they would be okay. He writes off all of their problems. And by the way, that is one hot chick behind Brent Spiner.
Yes, they
She's
all
hot.
are. They all are, but
conventionally attractive. I like, you know what? Today she would have had glasses and been fat.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't mind people who are fat and have glasses, but don't have them playing a perfect augment.
Right. My whole thing is he wants these people to just be less aggressive, and so he's trying to change these denim pieces of denim to say, okay, we need to fix that. And of course, if you haven't watched it, Malik's response is, well, who are you to say what these people should look like
basically what happens is Mr. Dr. Soong goes like, look, if we take these jeans that we had, the first jeans, those Levi's 501s, well, they were okay, but you can't wear them out dancing. So I'm going to make designer jeans, and we're going to acid wash them so you can go out clubbing in your beautiful Gloria Vanderbilts. And I'll take out the aggression and the anger so that people won't be afraid of you and you won't be monsters. Because
which is kind of more like what the Masterpiece Society and TNG humans were like. Right, that's kind of where Soong is trying to redirect them to being more like that, or maybe more like what the Denobulans said that they did, and
something closer to what the Roddenberry humans are like by the time we get to TOS and that stuff.
Yeah, and so Malik's response was, "Well, how dare you? Who are you to say what these people should be made to resemble, right, and how they should act?" which was kind of a bold claim from him, seeing as the only reason he was put into existence was because people had answered, I am. Not no one. I am. And so that's where I was like, Malik, he really lost that argument, but they didn't have time to resolve it.
What's weird is we found out from Smike, augments consist of one man and one woman. Okay? An augment is made up of one man and one woman only. Because Smike had two parents, and like all the augments do.
Yep.
That is a little weird, but it's here's the cool thing. It tracks. It tracks with the way. Everybody needs to keep this in mind. Khan originally was created because Hitler was only dead for as long as Star Trek Enterprise has been off the air when Star Trek the original series rolled. How's that for weird?
Yeah, that is.
Mustache Man was so World War II veterans were like your age, JT.
Oh yeah, point.
You could have fought in World War II, and you'd be sitting there with like at that point potentially like you say a 10-year-old, right? And watching Star Trek in 1969, and you would have been like when they talked about these young supermen who were made from superior breeding and all this other stuff, you would have been like, I've heard that before, and your kid wouldn't have, so he would have just gone on
then I would
have
said, Yeoman Teag, go and get me another beer and another pack of cigarettes.
During the commercial, because you would have wanted me to watch all this.
Well, yeah.
But you know what? He was only like the character of Khan was just Space Hilter. And then they thought about it. It's like, well, we don't have to have him be a ranting, raving, meth-headed madman. How about we like throw in some like Napoleon and some articulate stuff and have him just a touch of Mussolini in there, you know, little statesmanship, like a guy we can believe could rule the world for a little while, you know, someone with some competence. So, you know,
a better aura around them than
then Mustache Dude.
Appeal.
You know, I don't know how else to say it except, you know, figure it out for your stick. Figure it out for yourself. Who we're alluding to.
What does Jesse Owens have to do with this?
You know what?
Anyway.
He's not getting any medals from Hilter. But
that whole this is my favorite episode of Enterprise. It's going to come out and say it. So that whole conversation in that room, especially the displays, were pretty, you know, for 1080p era, they were phenomenal.
They're great.
What he was trying to do. And that whole conversation, I was like, well, you know, at the end of the day, I think Soong actually won that argument, but they didn't have enough time because the next event happened for them to really get down into that even more. But I think Malik's argument was too little too late. You've already let the genie out of the bottle. You've opened Pandora's box. So if you're going to argue that the augments should exist, then you kind of have to let Soong do his thing, right? Because you're a part of that. You were born with the original sin of being pampered with to begin with. So if you want to put that genie back in the bottle, you have that guy cannot have any more of these augments come out through their gestation devices. So there was a whole weird thing that they
we had a conversation about artificial wombs that didn't go anywhere, that was going to be cringy or horrible, that like today could you imagine Alex Kurtzman's conversation with the artificial wombs and how he would have made the augments?
I don't even want to go there.
Oh, they would have been ass birthed.
I don't even want to go there. He would make some horrible statement about how easily you could just turn them off and how there's nothing wrong with that. Now I would have gotten your channel kicked off of YouTube. So
how dare
that would have been Kurtzman's thing. So I'm just glad they weren't smart enough to even figure out what to do. But I think Soong is actually smarter than pretty much all these guys. Is he able to learn like Matrix fast, like Neo in the Matrix, where you basically download the file into their head? I think the Augments are that kind of smart, but Soong, I think,
he's freakishly smart. And he's
smarter
got
than all of
wisdom
them
and
still.
knowledge of like the real world. He sat down and
does.
played a few
Has his
games
own
of chess
flaws.
with other geniuses.
He's still trying to fly too close to the sun, though. He is.
Oh yes, he's gonna make a bunch of Iron Maiden song like mistakes.
Sure. Yeah, this was the image.
Every
right
frame
there.
a painting, by the way. That last one was beautifully composed. This one is beautifully composed, and it really, the design language is feeling like it's leading up to the original series. I feel like that's a great prop.
It's a wonderful prop. It's beautiful, and
It
you
looks
know
like-
exactly
it looks
what
like
he's
Nomad.
doing. You know exactly what he's doing without them having to tell you exactly what he's doing, which is awesome.
Which is what they do in modern Star Trek. They would have come in and said, "You're standing at the mass spectrometer because you're mass spectrometering," and he's like, "I'm in the middle of mass spectrometering. What do you want?"
And he would have said, "This is the power of biology, people."
God's send. Is it the end of God's or oh God?
God's son or
Oh!
God's head?
Oh, I can't take it.
1 minute to auto destruct.
I don't care. All right. Anyway, go ahead. Tell us more about this episode, this moment.
Well, you know, this is kind of what I've been describing for the past 2 minutes. I love the old Navy jacket on him. I think he wears it well.
Just all keep calling it that. Yeah, they shop for everyone's clothes at Old Navy.
Or was it J.
Maybe
Crew?
they went to
This
Hot
might have been a
Topics.
J. Crew thing. You think?
They went to the
They
same
could've
strip
done
mall, and one was for like, these is for your college kids to go out clubbing, and it's like, and this is for your college kids to wear to class and work.
Yeah.
He's basically got the same jacket I had, like in like when I went away to school. It's like my parents were like, "You're gonna need a good jacket out there on the edge of Long Island, where it's freezing fucking cold." They had no clue, sir.
Now, is this really like that thing that you look into at the optometrist that has like the hot air balloon at the end of the road, and
He
it
just makes
calibrates
eyes.
yeah.
Eyes, just eyes.
Well, we won't need eyes where we're going.
What will he? What kind of things is he going to invent when they give him his pencil back?
Unit is the ultimate achievement in computer evolution.
He invents the M's 1 through 4.
But
All right, so
yeah, I don't know. I really think that Soong is less obsessed with his own self-preservation at this point than he is at preserving the 1200 or whatever other embryos that they have.
And these augments are not on mission with him at all. The ones who are like in their 20s now, they're kind of just like, gives a fuck.
Right. My whole thing is they point out that this bird of prey is weaker than the Enterprise. If they already fled by this point, I think they've already fled the attack.
They can only take on the Enterprise when they get the drop on it, and when the augments engaged it, they did a great job. But what they did was their tactics were fantastic. That black chick was the captain. First black captain in Star Trek history was done by Enterprise. Congratulations to the writers of Star Trek Enterprise for giving Star Trek their first ever female black captain. The first black captain, of course, Cisco. The first female black captain is that black chick from this episode of Enterprise, and I think it's just great. I think it's great that Enterprise did it first. What do you think?
Well, they did all that, but did they have the first black female president of Earth, an IQ below 80?
We'll get one. Don't worry. Coming soon.
Okay.
Oh, boy, speaking of low IQ, we just caught him in the wrong moment.
Oh, no.
Let's give him some dignity. There we go. He looks much more intelligent now. Oh, God. You know, like when you just randomly freeze someone, they look so terrible. That's why, I only like to leave the camera on just so much, sirs and madams. And also, like, my camera is somewhat off center. So I have to be wearing like my earbuds to really be able to be symmetrical and look normal.
So if you're in New York and it used to be New Amsterdam, does that mean that's a Dutch angle?
Oh, it's a new Trek angle.
Okay.
It's a new Trek angle.
Okay.
All right. Oh.
Spock!
That's what's going to happen if we let these augments run wild. And
and the thing about this mission, I love this. I think they go back to this where he talks about this thing also.
Talks
what
about
do you,
the
what do you
Botany
think
Bay.
about all the spices on the desk here? The herbs.
I
and
thought
spices.
this was a great mad scientist setup, and I thought it actually was logical to a Klingon ship. And this Klingon area that he's going to also has some logical force. It has a logical amount of force and a logic. It seems to me that these Klingons have gone a little bit outside, just a little bit further than you're supposed to go, and that the other Klingons aren't totally set up to help them out right away. So I honestly think that these Klingons are doing exactly sort of what we thought is the only thing that makes sense to their society. They've gone out a Klingoning, guys. They went a Klingoning. And when they were a Klingoning, they took a planet or a solar system and most of the resources. And what's
then
kind of
sang a musical number.
No, they don't. Thank God.
Oh,
but what they do is they do a cool mad scientist flex here. As the Enterprise comes in, they're going to have to deal with an engagement with Archer, who is more well armed and much better with space tactics than they are, because now they're not dealing with Trip and T'Pol. And I'm going to say that might be to their disadvantage, because Trip and T'Pol have consistently had the most deadly, punitive, least regard for life of anyone's plans ever in the Federation.
Now, if you go ahead.
Sorry, off topic, but check on your own time. Star Wars Untold, much better than anything the Mouse has put out, with a $4.99 super chat. Star Wars Untold, is that what it is? I'll watch it.
I think so.
We also have Star Wars Despecialized simply released. It will be nice to see it for the first time in 35 years.
Oh, Star Wars the movie? Yeah.
I think, is it only streaming on Disney Plus?
Well, Star Wars Despecialized, you have to get through means some would consider
No, they've released
unnatural.
No, Disney released it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They're riding bareback, baby.
They're listening to fans again. Oh, interesting.
They like money. Turns out they like money.
Well, they haven't displayed that in the last decade, but okay. I guess they're coming around.
It's weird, guys. The only way to put this is JT is a good person to have here for this one. Sean and Jerem are good with this analogy too. Every one of these movies that either flies or doesn't is a basically for Disney. Like Snow White is the entire payroll of like a Major League Baseball team for a season.
Yeah.
Paramount's plan is 30 movies a year, by the way.
Oh, wow.
They say if they buy
That
Warner
is a
Brothers,
lot.
they said if they buy Warner Brothers, yeah, like more than 2 a month.
That is, well, if you cut genres and you're doing a PG or a G and then you got an R and a 13, I could see that.
And also
There's
multiple
fewer
price
players
ranges
now.
too, right? You
Yeah.
can have a less expensive horror movie with some of the properties. You could have like a more expensive sci-fi movie with one of the properties, and then you could have like a good old-fashioned love story. They still make money.
So does that mean we're getting
And
Batman
thank you
with
to the Dead Man.
Is that when we're going to get Batman on a Star Trek movie?
I don't know, but can we get Catwoman to take a shower? That last Catwoman, God. I know it's not her fault, but like poor like Zoe Kravitz, the last 2 roles we've seen her in, she's been like filthy.
Right.
She was in Road Warrior. She was good in Road Warrior, and I like that Road Warrior Furiosa movie, the first one, Road Warrior Fury Road. And then she was a terrible Catwoman in a very confused and bad movie. As JT likes to say, I did not like the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
I did not like it, Sam. I am. Yeah.
So there's your prop. It's amazing.
It is so cool. I know it's probably just a regular lab, like microscope or something. Man, they did a good job. In the panel there, we see closer in another shot. It is just great. And Soong actually points to it.
It's a great prop.
There's the augment in the embryonic state, in the suspended state, in that device,
in the artificial womb.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, JT, since we didn't get a chance to see inside of the sick bay, I have something here for you.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Is that extra absorbent?
It's extra expensive. What the hell's going on, sir?
You got the small sheets, or does it only tear off in the big ones?
When I started smoking, cigarettes cost less than that roll of paper towel, sir. A lot.
Well, when they give them to you for free, they're infinitely less.
They were free during the first term of Clinton. The second year, you had to start paying for them. But before Clinton, they gave you money to smoke.
In every 10 packs, or 10 cartons, they'd give you a free jacket or something like that too. If you
car, they gave you a car so that you could drive to the gas station and help them unload the gas. We used to remove the gas in the Middle East as a courtesy to help them out. They had too much of it.
They wouldn't drown in all the oil. Yeah.
Or fight over it. We had to, and we gave them money for it, so it was good. And they loved that. And what we did was we use it to make things go. And it's been working out fantastically ever since then. We're going to go to a place that looks like the Central Non-West in the next episode, The Forge. But this episode, Well, this episode, by the way, is directed by LaForge.
Oh, I believe it.
This is LeVar Burton. He's a competent director.
This is probably his best Trek episode he's ever directed.
This is a really good episode, though. This is like when we sit down and we go with the 100 best episodes of Star Trek. This one certainly is comfortably in there.
Yeah.
It only counts as one story. We don't have to take 3 other stories out. They did that. They did what they did.
Also, I did want to say,
it's not as good as the movies, but it's almost movie good.
Did you notice here that they switched her out mid-episode from the red
to the
maroon
to the light blue?
Yeah,
I like the light blue better, so I don't mind. You know what it is? She wears green when she's having her unfar.
They did.
That means Trip's not going to be a father this month. That's why she's wearing green.
They did mess up the shot a little bit because in this episode they showed how short she actually is and
she's tiny.
How thin she actually is.
She's compared
to in people a lot of times they hide it just how small she is. But Archer is like 1.5 to maybe 2 feet taller than she is.
Hoshi's a little taller.
Yeah. The actress that plays T'Pol is very petite.
She's petite.
And you in most everything else, they make her seem like this big badass. But no, you could probably pick her up with one hand. She's just small in this. And not a diminutive sense, right? It just is.
She was, maybe a dancer or something like that. She has like a fantastic body. She's a fitness model, and she was doing bathing suit ads, obviously. Even if you don't buy the bathing suit, you're going to look at that freaking picture. It's the same reason Sydney Sweeney was in those jeans ads.
Well, Tucker is taller than she is, but in the scenes where they're together, I don't know if they make her stand on a platform or something, but you see them close up and they look to be about the same size. But no, that's not true at all.
They try to level out the height between the two of them.
Yeah, it's like what they do to the guy from Top Gun. With all the religious accolades.
You could say Scientology.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was safe. Tom Cruise
go ahead.
Very short. Tom Cruise is a shorty, but they make him look like he's tall enough.
They lie and say he's like my height. They're like, short Tom Cruise is 5. You look at it's like 5'10". You're like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh yeah, right. With platforms.
That's not short.
Yeah.
But 5'10's not even short.
No, it's not. I'm thinking like 5'4".
Maybe 5'6" or 7 if he's short.
Yeah.
Short ends around 5'6" or 5'7". My biological father's like 5'6". Was like 5'6".
5'7". Then everybody else on the cast is over 6 foot. There's no way. Anyway, we go on about this.
Jolene's like 5'2". But we get into an engagement with the Augments.
This is a great conversation here. I love the practical effects. I love the amount of damage they were able to do. The set folks were really good at lowering the lighting and taking just cheap tubes that they use in every other damage scene on this show and stringing them about from the ceiling to make it look like, yeah.
All right, Kal-El. You know what? That doesn't upset my sense of right and wrong. All right, so she looks short next to Archer. Here's the thing. Scott Bakula is like a big guy. More than that, he might be more imposing than he is tall. So I guess what it is they don't fuck up, and they most of the time, and this shot was just done weird and bad, and they made her look tiny, or they doubled her badly.
Yeah.
They might have doubled her badly.
Mm-hmm. This conversation right here, I loved because it was.
Thank you, Kal-El. You are the best.
It was Soong's attempt to try to reason with Malik and say,
"Stop deleting people.
Hide. Stop deleting people. We have to hide." And Malik's like, "All I know is running isn't the way. We're going to do this." And so Soong says, "Well, what better idea do you have? I need to hear it." And he doesn't have one.
Have you ever heard of the Botany Bay?
Of Dark Plagueis,
Have you heard the tale of the Botany Bay? I didn't think so. It's not a tale that Starfleet would tell you.
Yes.
Khan Noonien Singh was a man so Mexican. He could sell you fine Corinthian leather, and in his time was the most interesting man alive.
With skills some would consider unnatural.
That is also true. Also, we have to. The thing that has offended the Augment and that is going to have a knock-on effect is Soong wants to nerf the future Augments so they're not as aggressive. That's what we mean by he's gonna No, first we had 501s, then we had designer genes, and now we're going to have acid wash genes. Come on.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want any of them to.
Not going to work out.
The problem is all these current Augments are going to need a 5150 if they even stay alive, right? So
well, you know what? Interesting stuff noting on that at the end of the episode when we return Dr. Soong to confinement, where I'll have some thoughts on 5150 and other stuff.
Yeah.
But here we go. Here's the Enterprise, sirs.
Is this where they fight the bird of prey at this point?
At this point, I think we do start mixing it up with the bird of prey. We have. I think we just vanquished the bird of prey.
So there is. Okay. Though this is the first scene where he cleverly Beverly drops this off this pod with the denobulin on there, and notice
that was actually clever.
None of the Augments thought that up. See, this is why I'm thinking that he's actually smarter than these Augments. He's more clever. He's smarter than them. For as good as they are,
they don't know that humans are sentimental enough to save a life. They've been taught that humans are really evil. So it would be like us saying, they're chasing us. Let go of the Romulan. The Romulans will just kill that Romulan and keep coming.
Well, some of us are this compassionate. I mean, look, Jonathan Archer's an American. If those values held through, we're definitely rescuing this person.
With a Yankee ingenuity that comes from upstate New York, Jonathan Archer rescues this person with only 4 hours work because Soong pulls a cool mad scientist trick. Archer thinks he's left them to die, but he's left them in a rescuable situation and in a little confrontation on screen with Archer, again designed to evoke Wrath of Khan. He sort of has it out with him. And meanwhile, we have this Blade Runner drama playing out on the Bird of Prey, on the Botany Pride.
And by the way, we've said Bird of Prey about 5 times. I just wanted to leave those emojis in here for Bird of Prey number 5.
We love Bird of Prey 5. Yes. He was our buddy. His channel's still live. If you ever want to watch some cool Star Trek related conversation, go over there and catch the OG. He was one in a million. Anyway, as we proceed forward, Archer now has a little conversation with Soong, and then Soong has this conversation with Malik. Stop contradicting me in front of everybody and go to your room. And
see, here they look to be the same height. They did it.
Well, here's the thing: if Connor Trier's even say 5'11", 5'10", and the distance behind her that he is, that's called forced perspective.
Right.
He's further away from us. So
they've been very good at always doing that.
They have been good at it. And we actually get a sense of 3 dimensions in this show. This show uses space, color, and music better than any modern show. It's absolutely a masterpiece. And if you're watching only on the vertical stream, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself out of the full experience on the landscape stream. On the landscape stream, we have dancing girls. We have we have unlimited sex. No, I'm only kidding.
And oil.
On the landscape, we have oil. The oil is tomorrow night with Landman.
Yep.
Landscape Man. Yeah, Landscape Man. That's funny. That's funny. That might be the name of the Tuesday night show. Get people used to it. That might be the name of I might just name a show that. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, I this was an interesting scene because for those of you that did not watch, right here, there is discussion about T'Pol's, I guess, arranged husband, and Tucker basically breaks it up with her kind of nonchalantly while they're working on something else. And he says, let's face it, we were never going to be a good couple anyway, a human and a Vulcan. And then just keeps going to work, and she has to play.
She humanizes the conversation.
She
humanizes
it. Tough way to act this. I need to show that I'm affected by being dumped, but I also have to be a Vulcan who doesn't show emotion. So how am I going to act that? Wow.
She's always been a different kind of Vulcan. And also, let's remember, as Vulcans go, she's Jewish. They haven't, the Vulcans have not found their Dead Sea Scrolls yet. So she's old school, They're going to find in the next episode, guys, great news. In the next episode, we find a USB stick left behind by Serac. It's got a hologram in it that can interact to a degree.
But yeah.
Well, we're going to start the story next week. In about 2 or 3, well, in 3 weeks, we meet Serac. Next week, we meet T'Pol's mom, who is a replicant. The replicant Zora will be in next week's Star Trek story.
Oh, yeah. She was.
Yeah, she is. That's goddamn right, Joanna Cassidy. And T'Pol's mom, I would. The way she looked there, I would still, yeah.
Okay.
Joanna Cassidy still looks good.
You and Sean have a different idea about that than me, I think.
No, I get it. There's something weird about her that's not that sexy, but then when you if you fixate on her body for a while, it's really, really good.
Okay.
Not maybe by the time she hits being to less or whatever the name of the mother is, but when she's Zora for sure. She was a little weird in the face, and she did have crazy hair. Here's the thing. She's from the age of big hair, so it didn't hurt her then, but she did have a little bit of a weird face. I think the deal is it was from before really good face plastic surgery that didn't make you look weirder. So she just didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm saying they fix people today. You know what I mean? Like they can line up. Like there used to be people with really
maybe.
great bodies and people with really great faces, and never the two shall meet.
You say that, but then there's Madonna.
Yeah, you know what? He could be in any minute. I might be behind on the comms. He has a thing, but he still could be here. Like he's not coming. It's just that he's not here now.
So
high chance he beams in. He did not cancel, so we're hoping he's all right.
This convo here was interesting. I was kind of disappointed that they kind of quote unquote ended their relationship this way. And I'm not a big one for putting in these long relationships into Star Trek, but I thought maybe they would have fought a little harder or not had this.
It felt very Battlestar Galactica, but yes.
Yeah.
All right. So Tucker and her have an effective emotional scene. Maybe it's not the Star Trek we wanted, but this is the Star Trek we got. And
this scene is the
since
reason
I like
they hired
both actors.
these two. This scene here is the reason they hired
They
both
act up
these
the storm.
actors. Yeah.
And they're physical.
Yeah. So there's a fight, a domestic issue, and she goes at Malik. I forget the part name. What this character is supposed to be. Perseus. Yeah, right.
No, Persis. Her name is Persis.
Oh, okay. So Persis.
Persis.
Okay. Well, so there you have it. Persis goes after him with a knife, although it's questionable who is going after whom at that point. He goes at him with.
That's not going to happen quite yet.
Oh no.
No, this is when they're just like talking about like, she's like, you used to lead us, now he does, and he's like, I can overthrow the emperor. I can bring peace and security to my new empire. Because there's a little bit of that going on in this douchebag too. And that movie was out.
Oh, so you're saying that she's Natalie Portman?
She's definitely Natalie Portman, and he's being Hayden Faithmanson.
Aha. Okay.
How's that for very diplomatic?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Guys, we deliberately talk in YouTube euphemisms for fun, mostly for fun. We'll just say it once in a while. And if you're not watching over on the landscape feed, you're missing out, everybody. We got ad-free Star Trek come on over to the landscape feed. Admiral Teag's Fish and Chip and landscape feed. It's Admiral Teague Surf and Turf. We got the vertical and the landscape. So this is when they're talking just basically intrigue and politics. Ooh, let's give her a moment. She's really pretty. Oh, the dead man. Thank you. The conversation between Trip and DePaul in Kurtzman Trek would involve more crying. I think she would have used her super strength
that it
and
really
beat the
matters.
shit out of him.
Not that it really matters. I've just always been intrigued. I was trying to determine is she a Guardian?
She might be part Guardian.
Okay.
She might be part Latino and Guardian. My thought was like she looks very much like she could be like slightly Caribbean.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
Well, think about it. You got like islands like Cuba where like you have every single color and everything in between. People have like various amounts of cream in the coffee, so to speak.
Yep. Okay.
Admiral Teague ends up being a glass of milk. What are you going to do? They didn't have enough melanin for my ancestors, okay? But hey, I'm 5%. I'm like 5% Guardian.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're far more Guardian than Elizabeth Warren.
900 times. Now, like if I was to, and that's an accurate number. She's 0.5% and I'm 5%. So wouldn't that make me something like 900 times more Guardian?
Something like that. Yeah, it's a ridiculous order of magnitude higher. Yeah.
The dead man is absolutely right. In New Star Trek, they wouldn't have done this. Also, here's the thing. This conversation, it's wordy, it's long, it's intrigue, but we've gotten to know these characters enough, and we know enough about the Augments, and the Augments are they're just tracking so much closer to Blade Runner replicants because of their impulsivity. They've been given the trait of the Blade Runner replicants, but they're not vampiric and needing life. They've got impulsivity, and I don't know how else to say it, JT. We love the poorly educated at this channel. Okay, we love the poorly educated. But these augments are extremely poorly educated, is all I can say.
Yeah.
Well,
they don't have any common sense. I don't know if they're dumb.
And also, they have sporadic skill sets.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. When you take the teacher away when they're adolescents, each one of them only studied the things that were interesting to them. That's why they have to work as a team and can't really start overthrowing each other like crazy. Only one guy can fix the weapons. Only one guy can really keep the computer up and running. Only one, you know what I mean? It's like we've divided them up. Like there is no Khan in this group, but Khan didn't start out as Khan. He had to go through his various battles.
Yeah,
he's 50 when 45 when we find him in space. 40. And Ricardo, man, all I can tell you is this guy is no Ricardo, but he doesn't stink up the joint. These are pretty cool repliments. The augments are pretty cool. And I like Abby Bramwell's augments. They're really nice. So then they come to confront him and they tell him that Dr. Soong, we've been thinking on this one and we'd probably be better at leading ourselves than you would. And he's like, 5 of you come to arrest me? And I'm thinking you come to arrest me, Master Jedi? I am the Senate. Right. And basically what happens is he tries one more round of pop psychology on his pals, the augments, and it just doesn't work. And hello over on the vertical stream. You can watch on the landscape stream with no commercials. Got a lot of people over there. Hello, sirs and madams. By the way, it's pinned to the top of the comments if you want to transition over to the regular stream from the landscape stream. I'm sorry,
now, is this where they go into the conversation about talking about Klachtikel Brach?
He tells them about the Briar Patch. Enterprise closes in.
Yeah. Fake warp signature.
We're going to fake a warp signature, and Archer's going to pretend to be a Klingot. I'm sorry, a Klingon.
Klingon.
Yes, I'm sorry, sir. Sorry.
Fun conversation. It's been done in Trek many times before.
Our bridge is much more interactive looking, though, than it's ever been before. Everything's lit up.
Yep.
It feels like the NX-01 got an upgrade. It feels like the NX 1.0 instead of the NX-01 right now.
And Mayweather stays nice and quiet.
What they liked about him was he's like, when I'm in character as Mayweather, I never look at Jolene or Linda. And
so
Archer,
yeah.
Archer pulls off a fake warp signature, fools the Klingons, and thank you, Dead Man, thank you so much. Fools the Klingons, and that's how we fooled the Klingons.
But even in the conversation, it was so well written that he's like, I don't think you should insinuate about the Chancellor on an open channel, bringing him dishonor and all this stuff. And then it's like, okay,
we're not going to turn our transponder on. And Archer's having fun with it, and he's acting a little Shatner-esque, isn't he?
He is. But then
he walks around the
bridge. The way they write it, he has one line where you think maybe he screwed up. The Klingons are going to figure it out. Because the guy, the Klingon says, we meant no offense to the High Chancellor, right? And then he says, I'm sure you didn't. And a Klingon is not going to answer that way.
Well, I think it translated into the Klingon equivalent, which is fuck you.
Possibly. But I sat there as oh no, you didn't say that. He might not buy it.
The Klingons have 300 different words for war and 7,000 different ways to say fuck you.
Yeah.
So Archer manages with his fake warp signature to get a little further. back on the Augment ship with discussion with Persis. Dr. Soong is able to convince her to release him in the escape pod.
Before that though, they had that conversation about the Briar Patch, and I loved that conversation because it was Soong's last proposal to them to hide, and he wanted to build a society and
a world
look
to tame.
after. Yeah, and he wanted to make it remote and hide, and I thought that was great with lore, even though not lore the android, but just the lore of Star Trek, even though it was from a terrible,
I had to think for a second,
terrible insurrection movie. It at least kept something in here where he's like, no, we'll go hide here. They'll never find us. And we have to make a world of our own outside of the eye of anyone else. And that was a far better plan. And Malik was like, how about we just go around and start
better Briar Patch
everything.
movie.
Well, yeah, that would have been far better. They had the answer right there. And so it showed the difference between Soong being not this super aggressive guy, would have actually made a whole planet full of augments had they listened to him on this, and assuming they all didn't delete each other, right? But then they didn't even.
He goes a little night court right there for a moment.
They chose violence, right? They chose the way of violence. So what they're going to do here is release another hostage himself to try and slow them down, is what he's telling the augments. Reality, he is not going to do that.
Well, I think he's honest with Persis.
Yeah.
He tells Persis he needs to get off the ship and like stop Malik from executing this. The plan's a little too evil. And Persis
at this point, the plan is
now to delete an entire planet of Klingons with the reverse Genesis device.
And then say, oh, the humans did it, and then have the Klingons and humans annihilate.
They don't have to do much but do it, because the Klingons are already pissed off at the humans and chomping at the bit. They were only held back by maximum diplomatic effort and pressure from the Orions, from the Romulans and the Andorians. Had to vouch for the humans that these augments were some weird group.
Yep. Which this reminds me of certain things in 1939, I believe, where the Polish ain't do nothing wrong, and the Germans had to fake and lie about who attacked whom to start that conflict too. So right on brand for the augments.
I just want to say, yeah, they are based on that. I want to thank everyone watching over on the Landscape View who's like being, very, very kind and generous. There are, no words that I have that I can thank you for honoring us with watching our Star Trek show. And we're getting towards the end of this tale and ready to rate it as we have our little Silence of the Lambs moment. And what I like is there's like every once in a while we do this awkward thing where like Soong and Archer, or any two characters in a confinement or situation like this one, maybe even in a helicopter. In the first Planet of the Apes reboot movies, they're in a helicopter at the end, right? And one guy tries to talk to the other, and he goes, "You can't talk to me unless you push the button and put on the headset, or I won't hear you." And so like Soong starts talking to Archer, and he like puts up his hand, and he's like presses the button to activate the intercom. He's like less than interested in what he has to say. It was a kind of a cool little thing to add in there, and Bakula just like nailed the feel of how Archer would be feeling towards Soong at this point, which is getting tired of him and not thrilled with him as an individual anymore. And this is where Soong tells him, you know what, I've got their plan. It's really dastardly. It's this. They're going to try to like reverse Genesis device this Klingon planet. We have to stop them. And Archer's like, no. And he's like, you don't understand. Billions of people are going to die if we don't stop them. And he's like, you don't care about the Earth. You want these augments of yours to run it. And, we don't trust you. You would screw us all over and let us go to war with the Klingons just so your augments could have a place to go and live, and just to get us off their back. Basically, like, we don't know the whole story behind it, but you've pulled something remarkably similar to this before in the past. And I'm just thinking to myself, all right, this fits because season 1 Archer was just like, we're from Earth. It is 4.9 light years from here in galactic southwest at these coordinates. We have a limited complement of weapons. We don't have shields yet. We want to be your friend. And now he's just like, wait till I push the button to talk, asshole. And he's like, I don't really believe you. He's like, bullshit. And I'm like, oh, Archer, you're calling bullshit at the wrong moment. But it was nice to see him be like less naive. He was like, he was much less naive. He was like, we had seen Archer being, I don't know, a little unworldly or a little misguided or whatever the word you want to use is. He doesn't go far enough in a lot of places. You know what I mean, JT?
Well, the other important lesson here, I love where Soong says, what do you want me to say? That you were right and I was wrong and all of this and that. And if only I had been there for them. But it's all your fault this is happening because you put me in jail and I couldn't be a teacher and a father to them. And instead he's like, no, you never saw it. These augments were stylistically designed to be this way. You were trying to mitigate the effects, but only can go so far.
And then Archer foreshadows a line that we will hear when we get to the original series. And guys, thank you, sirs and madams. 3,020 crazed Star Trek fans here to hear about Star Trek Enterprise. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for the 3,020 ship fleet. I will be making a thank you video.
And also the comment about the superior ambition, it reminded me of Space Seed and the Wrath of Khan. It was like poetry. It rhymes.
Comes back to you. Though RRTN said with a very generous $2 super chat, says huge missed opportunity. T'Pol versus Persis catfight. That would have been kind of cool because hypothetically T'Pol wins because she is a wise, time-worn, expert martial artist. She's really expert level with the martial arts. She teaches those people on Terra Nova how to fight back like easy. Oh, no, it wasn't Terra Nova. It was in Marauders.
Maybe she would also fight not to lose.
Not the Paul we've seen. She's the one who ordered that attack and detained, and also ordered several other attacks that were extremely deadly and extremely bloodthirsty. Well, and she shows a much higher level of aggression than Archer. I
give
guess
AI like another 5 years,
and
we'll see this fight happen.
Well, yes, we will, and also, we will see maybe some. I got to find some Rule 32 or is it 34? I'll watch. I dig both rules about those actresses, although they were both in Maxim, so I guess we could see bikini shots of them.
You throw that into the training model, yeah.
Someone that beautiful something slightly left to the imagination still kind of means something. Like, what can I tell you? I don't know. Like, I don't mind, but if they don't want to show us everything, they don't have to. Unfortunately, it's not Ferenginar yet. It's not Ferenginar yet. We will get there, my friends. Don't worry. So Archer says to them, with superior ability comes superior ambition. That's what one of their creators said. He was killed by an augment. And Spock's going to say the line in Space Seed, but Archer says it here, and I guess that's where Spock got it from. And I guess this is what everyone just says to sum up the augments, because that was what the scientists said about him, and maybe he gave a warning before he died. It was like a famous viral piece of video. It was on like Space X, Star
Right.
Trek X. So we get that line, and meanwhile, back on the ship, this augment has great augments.
Yes.
I love the augments.
Yes.
Persis and Malik are having a difference of opinion.
I think she wanted to follow Soong's plan. More of a motherly instinct than what Malik wants to do.
they're not quite as evil as Khan and his lot, but they haven't had a lifetime of being horrible. This guy is he's made it there. He's going to do arbitrary sociopathic things. She has like some warmth and some like maternal side. Like she's like,
Yeah.
but father wanted us to go to this planet and sort of raise these, little augments. But she wasn't wild about the idea of changing them. So she was happy to have, like, for her, Soong leaving was perfect. Like, we won't change the augments, and he's gone, not dead.
Right. They got what they wanted. And the opportunity she got what she wanted, and they had the opportunity to still follow his plan. And this is where they get into a domestic disagreement. And I don't know who threw the first punch, but she drew a dick talk and slashed him right on the collarbone.
You know what it was? She had been watching videos on TikTok, and it made her very angry.
That's
where
the
she
name
learned
of
how
the
to use that knife. Look how lean that
knife.
actress is. Jeez. Wow. Talk about whip thin, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
What a gorgeous woman.
Yes. Yes.
We have an attractive cast in this show. This is it. I was thinking about making this the thumbnail, but I figured we get struck for prom.
They have a very highly choreographed fight scene.
Great parkour fight.
Great, but
that's
I think they probably did about 12 takes to get it right.
I'm going to ask JT the same question now. Is it that these people's acting is so good and their stunts are so good because they're from musical theater? Or is it because the directing is so great we're putting in perfect stunt people? It seems to me they're doing at least a lot of their own work, and only stuff that would get people hurt is being swapped out to stuntmen.
I think they're doing their own stunts here.
I think
these are basically all stunt people.
Considering that this is their final fight, they could have risked her or him getting hurt.
Yeah.
But she does a good,
they found
convincing
people
death
that
scene here.
could. Yeah, that could give.
What's funny was she had made that same face just minutes before during something else, but now she's got a knife in her.
Yeah. And we don't have to see the knife go in because with that expression, you know exactly what happened. So you don't need to be overly gory with it.
They're not gory or gratuitous at all in this one. They don't go for that one. Then Tucker is working with Soong because he has to, and Soong tries to make small talk, and he's an antagonistic dick. And
he's like, "Oh, we're a little defensive of the Vulcan here," and
Trip's like, "No, I just don't
T'Pol's
fucking like you."
He doesn't. T'Pol says he doesn't like you, and then Tucker says, "I don't like him either."
Like you. Yeah.
I've got the death sentence in 12 Xindi systems.
I always want to say, that scene, if you want to explain why there's blood on the floor of the cantina, Obi-Wan had not recharged his lightsaber.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Obi-Wan killed more people than anyone else, man, with the lightsaber. He was out there like just reaving his way through robots in Attack of the Clones and everyone else. And
I always thought it was just cocktail sauce. They had a big shrimp plate, and
she did have those bits.
Yeah.
So he just hates him. And we see Hoshi looking beautiful, just absolutely beautiful.
Now there is an actress in this scene. I don't know if you have her. Oh yeah, with the Klingons, they have a bigger cruiser coming after them, a D7 or something.
D7, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw D7 on their final tour. They had ODB back. It was great.
Okay. There is an actress that's at the end of this episode, and I don't know if you'll find her in your
that
shot.
Blonde lady, Dana Gania.
Yeah, why is she there?
Because like Mr. Reed was not available that day.
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought she had like won a
Malcolm's job.
I thought she had won like the sweepstakes with a chance to get on an episode of I
don't know. There's got to be a production story about that one, but For those of you at asked, Radioactive, in answer to your question, Sean has fulfilled his punishment, and I'm going to let him out of the agonizer booth on the planet below now. Hey, Sean.
What did I ever do to deserve this?
You look at Dr. Fox the wrong way.
We've got a great episode this week. It's a great one. We're almost done recapping it. We've gone through most of the events. But you know what, Sean? You didn't see last week on Star Trek. We're having fun with this one. We're doing it whenever anyone comes on. Just to catch you up, here's all of last week's episode as described by Mr. 47, as we call him. My friend from Queens. Here he is.
Don't mention the light bulb.
Do the lights in your office flicker every now and then?
There you go. It's complete coming attractions from last week.
How you guys doing?
We are doing
great.
well.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, sorry I'm a little late today, but this is the last week that I will be late to the party.
I figured it was fine. You know, here's the thing, guys and crew and bridge crew and mods. This is the deal. Admiral Teag, he's like Ozzy Osbourne. Sometimes I'm with Black Sabbath and we do our thing, and other times I gotta go out there and bite the head off a bat. I'm ready for either one. It's cool. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Sure. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Oh, thank you, sir.
How dare you?
Harrison's a little more upset at you than Donald, but it's okay. I'm glad you're here. I can't wait to get to the finish the plot synopsis, and we'll talk about how we feel about this episode. And there's a few things going on in Star Trek, and the channel's doing all right. Wow, 3,020. Now the people are joining. Keep joining. Yeah, well, you know, I had said this to Tony personally on the phone the other day, and I said it today on X, and I'll say it now. Now, we can't have Tony going around getting larger than me. Wouldn't be good. Bad for everyone you know. Disturbs the natural order of things. I have always been bigger than Tony. If Tony gets bigger than me, he won't feel any pressure to be funny. It'll be dull and boring. I'm not saying that you shouldn't join his channel. I'm saying you need to get more people to join mine. Anyway, congratulations on closing it. Congratulations, sir! You've almost got 3,000 as well. But Archer, we have another conversation with some more Klingons. They're dumber this time.
There's a hilarious part here where Soong tries to talk in Klingon to them. And he's like, Archer and co are honorable people. Why don't you let them go? And he doesn't have any Jedi mind trick ability. And the Klingons don't buy it for like 5 seconds.
And my thought is like, why isn't Hoshi like, shut the fuck up, I speak for this ship? Yeah. I'm feeling like the whole cast wasn't always there when they filmed.
That's possible.
Even with the bridge crew.
That's possible, yeah.
And like they could just make a wax Mr. Prideweather. His expression has not changed. The most discipline he has is never ever looking at Linda or Jolene.
You could almost CGI him in at this point. No one would know.
He almost is. He has that perfect haircut.
You saying they cut him all the same?
Well, he takes care of himself. That's why we call him Prideweather, right? Because he takes so much pride in the way he looks.
He's in shape.
RTNZ says another missed opportunity for Trip to say too soon. You keep running your mouth, and I'm going to ask the captain if I can still guide us to the if you can still guide us to the augments with a broken jaw. Ooh, yes. And Prideweather does Prideweather's looking very crisp. He's ready to model the J.C. Penney's fall collection. He's a male model who just he's only got limited acting skill. He's gotten better. He's worlds better. I wish we could go back and do Horizon again. It would still be terrible, but it wouldn't be as bad as it was. He's better. He's just better. He's still not good. It's not enough time for anyone to turn the corner as much as he had to. He was deceptively good in episode 1 and then just falls off the table. I don't know if it was like the directors had to work too much with him. It obviously, Detained is the episode where it all falls apart. And in the Mary Trump interview, Sussman talking about Detained, like, had the same views of it that we did. So, like, we're nailing the author's intent to some degree. I was happy to see that. He was like, there was just, we tried too hard to accommodate Dean, and we didn't, like, there was some things with the story I would like to have that one back for a rewrite. So, yeah, well, good pick by the Saving Star Trek panel if we're feeling the same way they did. At least on that one. Confirmation bias. And I don't need any more bias. I'm a very biased man. I leave it in my quarters, but I stream from my quarters, so it's impossible for me to leave it at home. At any rate, Enterprise and the Klingons.
And this is kind of an interesting idea. The only way that this grappler attack would ever work is if the Klingons started to try to pull in the opposite direction, because there's no friction in space, right? So there's nothing for the Klingon ship to hold on to for you to rip it off. So they would have to deliberately go in the opposite direction. A little bit of a problem here. However, the idea of using this when you don't have conventional weapons to try to, take on this cruiser yourself is to do something a little unconventional. And I think this was very Kirk here.
Archer was being very Shatnerific earlier on when he was talking to the Klingons through the Universal Translator. He's like, I'm not going to turn a transponder on. I thought it was, I think they were telling him it's okay. And at this point, the writing, like, I don't know if they've been told yet, but at least they knew that they weren't going to get Shatner because they'd made their mirror episode. And they were just like, it's okay. You can uncork a little Shatner energy here and there. It's like, good. It was an inventive way to make him seem cooler. And also highly reminiscent of you know what? Our speeders can't crack through the armor, but if we use our tow cables, we can trip them up.
I also
use your harpoons and tow cables.
Oh, Luke, I have an overload in fire control.
They tried to use the harpoon tow cable maneuver on Tilly.
Oh no! They were
you showed a picture of somebody roping in Tilly this morning in group chat.
I love this ship. This ship
of the whale
model
preaching.
Unlike everything in Disco, there is nothing, on New Trek that you would ever want a model of. This ship used for one scene.
It looks great.
Looks cool. Yeah, it looks great. I mean, we know it's CGI. But
all the ships in this episode are great.
Yeah.
All the Klingon ships are
great. Great texturing, great coloring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's really nice.
Then we have our reverse Genesis device. We're going to use it on the Klingon planet. And DePaul, we always manage to catch her with her eyes closed. She's figuring it. She's kind of reached this conclusion too. And Pride Weather says there's a sale at Penny's. No.
Is that the guy from Airplane?
Yes.
Yeah, the Penny's. Pride Weather, what can you make out of this? I can make a hat or a brooch or a pterodactyl.
Gary's not the only one who has all of those movies completely memorized. Guys, we love it that you're here. Keep hanging out. We got a great review at the end for you. Because we're almost at the end. Okay, so there's a sale at Penny's. The Augments have fired the reverse Genesis device, and they're going to reverse Genesis this planet.
You know what this scene is copying, right? They said, "F it, we're going to copy First Contact." This green torpedo is the Borg cube. That's why it's green, right? And this Borg cube is flying in to destroy the planet, just like they had in First Contact. And instead of firing quantums, because they don't have them, they fired the 3 photon torpedoes and they do the same kind of arc around the planet that they do to destroy the sphere.
They do
like
arc
an
around the
exact
planet. It's pretty
one-to-one.
cool. I thought they were arcing around the planet to invoke the Genesis planet and Spock's coffin.
Oh, see, I was totally getting first contact out of this, like down to the fact that they fired
It's pulling a few
torpedoes
Star Trek
at
threads.
it. Yeah,
I think they might have pasted the special effects over that.
By the way, look how pretty
Maybe-
that planet is too. I mean, that's really good.
It looks great. It's probably our planet, but it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
It really does look fantastic. It's a fantastic picture. You can see the atmosphere at the edge. You can see where the atmosphere meets space at the edge of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it looks like a place where there's life and some very happy Klingons, you know? Sir, it's a beautiful beach. So we destroy the reverse Genesis device. We start having a space battle. It's going pretty bad. And of all people, Soong volunteers some information. Says the Archer's going to fire back, and he's like, I'm going to destroy it. You know, fuck them. Target their bridge. And he says, no, don't. And he's like, huh? It's like, target behind their bridge. He's like, why? He's like, their bridge has like backscatter deflector shields. The Klingons' sensors and deflectors are much better than yours. You can't pull that off. You want to shoot them here. He's like, well, it doesn't seem like it's an important place. Like, there's like an EPS conduit there. Just do it. He's like, fuck, do it. All right.
it's like kicking them in the balls. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So what happens
This
there?
reminded
What
me of
happens
something.
there? Right, was when they fired that shot. It was the reverse of when they meet the Enterprise and the Reliant for the first time, and they fired that where Khan yells fire, and then they fire, and then they fire again and fire, and it has the phaser blast go right across the engineering section of the Enterprise, and gets rid of Scotty's nephew and causes all that damage on the ship. Right, that whole scene was the reverse of that. Now here,
Midshipman Peter Prescott will be remembered for all time.
yes, this scene is
Stayed in his
perfect.
post when the other cadets fled, you know.
This scene is perfect. This is what happens at the end when they get behind Khan's ship in the Wrath of Khan, in the nebula, and they start firing back at them and basically destroy the Reliant. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, this
I'm
is
sorry,
so
I hear it in my mind.
to the point that I wish they would have put that music in. But they
Khan's
even
music
have
is awesome.
The deleted
Khan's ship's music is awesome.
the deleted other crew member in the Wrath of Khan. He flips him over. Malik looks at the deleted comrade here, flips him over. Then he stands up to go around to the back of the bridge the exact same way that Khan does. He stumbles almost
Wrath of
one.
Khan.
He even stumbles the same way that Ricardo Montalban did.
Yeah, it's great, actually.
Like,
it doesn't
shot for
bother me.
shot. Oh, I love it. I love it. It was such an homage to it. It was not a member berry, because it was done completely organic in this situation. But they're like, yeah, we're gonna do this, because
I am gonna have to go back and
love
watch
Star
it to
Trek.
catch that.
They love Star Trek, and it is very obvious that they love the Wrath of Khan, and they knew they couldn't copy it, but they were saying, oh yeah,
They sort of like just gave it a new twist, and they're like, here's a perfectly good Star Trek story that's not getting enough love and attention.
Buddy was not a fan. Okay,
Really?
Buddy was not a fan.
Well, we're going to find out how we felt, and we're going to find out how you guys felt too, because we have your, we have your reactions here. But
Take his wrench away.
Away with him, I say. I'll put on my snobby British voice again.
The assignment of deflector control at the bottom of the ship.
No, old
Like
boy,
that-
we
like
can't
that one
have
guy.
Tony getting bigger than me. Upsets the natural order of things, I'm number one. Unless he's my number two, he won't be funny anymore. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't join his channel, but I'm number one. You know what? Well, we'll meet you at the top. Whoever has the most subs when they dies wins. I'm with RRTNZ on this one. I think I'm 3 movies ahead of you though. I think Wrath of Khan is actually my very favorite movie of all time.
Well, it is.
Everything
It is
about
mine. It is mine. I can tell you
Okay, good
that
there.
without a doubt, without hesitation.
I absolutely think that Wrath of Khan is the best movie ever made. I think that my whole life was leading up to seeing that moment at that age and understanding what friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice meant. And a lot of my future decisions were based off of, things that I saw about how friends would care for each other and how far you would go for your friend. You got a great, the sacrifice of and no greater love is there than this, that a man would sacrifice him for his friend, his life for his friends. And at the same time, read Nicholas Nickleby. Do not read A Tale of Two Cities. Read A Tale of Two Cities. Do not read Moby Dick. That's the lesson from Wrath of Khan. Read A Tale of Two Cities and listen to the Iron Maiden song Revelation. It's A Tale of Two Cities. But Wrath of Khan's my number one. Yeah, there's 3 movies better than Wrath of Khan? I'd like to know what the hell they are.
Yeah.
The hell? He's hallucinating, sir.
But he says the things he didn't like, and I kind of liked those.
I did not like the Botany Bay Khan call out. The painted bird on the ship and the garbage scout comments. The bridge damage and Khan calls out at the end. Actually, painting the bird of prey on the bottom of the ship was an okay thing to say. That one didn't bother me because the Klingons are doing it.
The Botany Bay Khan call out, I thought it would have been funny. I thought it would have been funny if Soong had said the Botany Bay. Oh no, come on. So that it would have been like what Chekhov said, the Botany Bay. Oh no. But it would have been like
I think he does say,
but it would have been fun.
The ship was lost.
Fun. Yeah, but then the garbage scout comment, I thought that was hilarious. I did. But
let's look inside the mind of RTNZ.
Dark Knight, okay. Or at the con, Star Wars 3.
Just private chats, man. My top 5, I sometimes change them 1 through 5. The Dark Knight, Wrath of Khan, Star Wars 1977, Superman, the movie 1978, and number 1, Lord of the Rings. All 3. Well, that's 15 hours with a movie in one, so you're kind of cheating there, but that's fine. So Wrath of Khan is in mighty company indeed. I believe for me it goes Wrath of Khan, Fellowship of the Ring, Star Wars, then Star Trek the Motion Picture, then Empire Strikes Back. They're just about tied. I like Empire Strikes Back and Star Trek the Motion Picture. I don't know why they're so close because they're such different movies, but if I had to start listing, I don't know. They're about the equal amount of enjoyment, but I think I would put Fellowship of the Ring as number 2 to Wrath of Khan. I love Fellowship of the Ring. It's so close. It's the one that's the closest to the book. The Two Towers is kind of I think even Tolkien, he would have approved of that trilogy, and that's the only thing that's ever been done by of his that he'd approve of, but he would not approve of the Two Towers movie. It's all about 17 pages of the book. The Battle of Helm's Deep is 17 pages, guys. It's good 17 pages, but then it's over. And it's not like it's intercut with another chapter. We finish it all off. We fight the whole battle. And we don't have elves show up. It's Aragorn's family. But whatever.
Well, they fought that
because
whole
Aragorn's
battle.
Italian.
They
His
fought that
family
whole
shows up
battle
to
in
fight with him.
vain because, 3,000 years later, some adolescent cries and destroys all the dilithium in the galaxy. So
I thought you were going to say they fought that battle in vain because, thousands of years later, some woman in the newsy parliament would start screaming and singing and doing a weird stylized dance. If anyone remembers
yeah.
that viral
Yeah,
video
I remember
from over
that
the
thing.
summer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a war chant that they did before the Europeans came over and deleted them all with rifles. It was supposed to scare them away.
They were liberating them from life.
Well,
anyway, LOTR is essentially one movie. Fair enough. You know what? All the greatest movies and all the Star Trek movies, it's like all the great stories, Mr. Frodo. They're about friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. And that's why these new Star Trek movies from JJ didn't work. And that's why this new Star Trek doesn't work. No one's a friend. They want to fuck each other or they hate each other. That's all these writers know. And God, imagine being around them in real life when they only have those two speeds. What are you going to fight your way through life? Like naked and angry. There's no way to go through life. Someone's finding that one out right now. But honestly,
sounds like marriage.
Yeah, that's naked, depressed, and angry. All right, so we've destroyed the Augment ship. It's a real shame. And Soong is, he's really bad. He's an ultimate black hatter, and he's a technical arsonist. And he's like, what? Wait, the brig's the other way, and Archer is gone back to being dumb again. After being fairly smart for all 3 episodes, he's like, we're taking you to the crew quarters so you can watch some prawn hub before you go back to prison. I figure you deserve to rub one out like a man, and that's when...
Thanks for helping us out, right?
Yeah. There's some picture. The camera's tuned to Hoshi or to Paul's quarters. You can switch back and forth. Mr. Tucker will be into Paul's quarters in 1 hour. It's going to get... We call that one the Spice Channel, sir.
Oh,
So at any rate, out of nowhere, Malik beams in. I don't know how the hell he got there. Obviously, the transporter is involved. He makes it onto the ship, and the Starfleet guy hits him with stun. It staggers him for like a moment. He shakes it off.
It was like a taser that didn't really make a good connection.
It's like a flinch.
Yeah.
It gives him a flinch. It doesn't hurt him as much as when Archer got the other got the guy at the door. He might have Archer in hand-to-hand combat, just like Kirk was able to give Khan an irritatingly difficult time. Archer can irritate a replicant. An augment in a fight. So we have the father-son confrontation. He's like, please. Well, he's like, Malik, you're alive. Just give yourself up and don't die. Is kind of what he's trying. The energy that he's trying to give him here is doesn't have to go any further. It's over. You're going to the prison planet and you're not getting any fucking ice cream. And he throws him up against the wall and he's enraged.
Well, he throws him at the floor and Data hits his head on the bulkhead. Gets a nice gash on his head.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is the last time we saw these two together, Malik had said to him, I'll see you soon. Or was it see you soon? I just couldn't tell.
Oh, yeah. I guess you could. Oh, and then the really awesome part was...
I want to see if we can get it.
Yeah. So this is where he gets... Oh, and he hits his head.
That was a pretty good swap in for a stunt man. You're not going to throw 60-year-old Brent Spiner on the floor, and he's been through too much. We saw them tease this effect, and we knew that they were willing to go this far in a few places, and of course he's an augment, so of course he has slightly Road Warrior style. They're selling that jacket at Hot Topics.
He picks him up, and he's going to restrict his airway too much.
This is where it's, again, very Blade Runner. If you could see what I've saw, if you could see what your eyes have shown me, Father, this is the end of Terrell.
Yep, there you go.
He's helping him. It's like, you fucked with me. You fucked with the wrong guy. He's got great teeth.
Well, Malik had the mountain of booger sugar, right? That he did right on the Klingon bridge before he came over here.
He did find some.
Yeah,
he did find some Praxian marching powder, as it's called.
Yeah. And then right there, I don't know if you can have it shown because he was blinded by his own rage.
It was
well, I don't know
cauterized.
if you have it, like right there.
That is awesome. I loved it. And you know what? They liberated themselves from being just absolutely chained to Wrath of Khan. They did their own thing. I thought it was independent enough. So I liked that they did. You could be guilty. Some might call this ending tacked on because he does just drop out of the ceiling and he's just there. Though we know in Star Trek it's possible. They don't have to explain it because they don't need to. We know enough about Star Trek to be trusted. They don't tell us that he got there. Good enough. He has that fucking technology. He absolutely beamed over. But there we see Archer's hand right through the middle. It's absolutely great. It's a great kill shot. He sort of had his death speech on his own ship, and then he has his evil madman speech later against Soong. And I thought that Archer here, the National Phaser Association would appreciate that he immediately lowers. See, he lowers his phaser. Never point your phaser at something you're not willing to fire your phaser at. And now that now that Malik is down, he's following National Phaser Association rules and the Second Amendment of the Federation Constitution by his right to bear arms.
So because he thought that this phaser rifle had blanks in it, and so he didn't anticipate.
No, he wasn't rusty.
Oh, okay.
And he's not firing blanks like Patrick Stewart in real life.
Oh shit.
Malik knew they'd catch up sooner or later. That 0.0 might have been the fashion.
Yeah.
So at any rate,
a pretty cool ending
Tron
there.
Hub.
Fast forward.
And then we have an epilogue here where we bring Soong back to jail. And I don't know what to tell you about these futuristic manacles they put on him. They're cool. And Brent Spiner, we saw him in Night Court. We saw him as Data. They only cast people who had miming, clowning, and those kind of physical acting skills. And the stuff he does with these handcuffs, he imbues these space age manacles with life. I feel like we know how they work after watching him with them for 3 episodes.
Right.
It's like when you hit the button, they shoot together really fast. They're like the perfect handcuffs. And then when you release them, they just pop right off. And so you never take the actual restraint cuff part off. They're like the perfect futuristic handcuffs. And, whatever. He's got an app for controlling Soong. And they have their final conversation, and Archer now has a measure of respect for Soong. And, Soong is just resigned to his fate in life. And he says, they took away my drawings. They could at least let me finish stuff before they destroy it. And Archer says to him, nothing's been destroyed. And he's like, huh? It's like, we're storing all this stuff, and maybe one day they'll be able to use it to better humanity. And he's like, don't bet on it, is the exact line. And I'm thinking, no, don't, because they're going to give that shit to Section 31.
Yeah.
It's like Dr. Soong has designed, a way to, heal cancer, to cure cancer. It's like, reverse engineer it and find a way to cause cancer. By the technology. We've designed the cigarettes, sir. Okay.
No, but what Archer says is, they've seen your designs that maybe you can keep people from dying. I know you haven't finished it yet, but if we work together.
If we work together. Yes. So at any rate, Brent Spiner a little bit happier when Archer tells him that his stuff won't be destroyed. And he's like, we weren't meant to mess with humanity's, fashion. People should be able to buy whatever jeans they want, and whatever jeans the guy upstairs gives you, you should wear for all your life. And
Especially
we're not going to mess
jeans.
around. Yeah. Yeah. Or, he was trying to go from like bell bottoms to acid wash and change trends with the designer jeans, but he just couldn't pull it off.
However, the phaser show loophole. What if I created artificial eye?
Now, this was interesting to me. What they did to him here is they sent him to, and guys, if you're watching on the vertical stream, the landscape stream has no ads. Jump on over there. Let me explain this end of this episode, why this haunted me so much. I just did some research on this because for some reason this really haunted me. This Soong seems to me to be the most pathetic person in the 23rd century for this reason. Or 22nd century. This is why I find him so pathetic. In this wonderful future of Star Trek that we all want to go in and be part of, he is there, but he has as much access to their technology as we do. As in none. He's been given a social media like capital punishment. He can't have a calculator. He can't have a pad. He can't have like a TV. Nothing. RRTN7 with a generous $2 New Zealand super chat says, ending equals Soong disappears in a puff of foreshadowing. He kind of does. Yeah. I thought that this was the end of Brent Spiner in Star Trek. I forgot. Sean has reminded us that, and JT reminded me that he's coming back. I totally forgot that we have 2 more episodes with him, but they could have left this character here. They
I don't know if
decided to use
it's
him
with
again.
him. I don't know if it's with him, but it is with the augment technology. So it is with him, but I don't think he actually, does he come back? I'm trying to remember.
Here's the thing. He was as we all know, Brent Spiner was a really, really big Yankee fan, and this was the year that they flamed out in the playoffs. So he needed another appearance, or they were going to, throw him off the pier in LA. I think that's what it was. It's like, I put too much money on the Yankees, sir. Can I please just get one more episode? And of course, my YouTube browser crashed.
This was the year the Sox beat him, right? I think it was. Sox beat him in 04.
Me. Yeah. Yeah. It was all planned by some guy who knocked 7 of 9's husband out of politics. Wonder what his name. Guy with a real Star Trek-y kind of name. It's weird that she so supports him now. RTNZ, thank you so much. You have reached the Q Continuum. You are all Q Continuum members. Well, now, I just want to say, as I round out my thought, I looked, and I think everyone will find this kind of interesting. Did you know that if you post crazy things on social media, I'll give you 3 countries. You tell me which one the worst one to go nuts on social media is. You ready?
Okay.
United States, China, or Canada?
England is not an option here.
No, England's not an option. Although England is like a mirror image of Canada.
I'm going to navigate this. So Canada is a wannabe England, but they also sometimes are too friendly with the CCP. So I think you're going to get the worst of all of that. I'm going to go with C, Canada.
Only Canada has a lifetime social media ban for bad behavior on social media of those 3 countries that I mentioned. Canada alone has a social media capital punishment. Were you aware of that?
What?
I was not.
You mean like you're not literally.
I don't want to use the word unaliving sentence, but they have they have social media. Like, let me put it this way. It's still a socialist country. This was the best I was able to figure it out because Soong's isolation and lack of technology. Now he finds some purpose right away. He's going to go from being a mad scientist geneticist to being a mad scientist roboticist. And the last line he says is, "Could take a generation."
Yeah, that little.
I was okay with it, but that was really on the nose.
Yeah.
But they're going to keep his stuff. Unlike in Canada, did you know you don't have the right in Canada? And the worst place to be, I found out, was, believe it or not, the different Canada provinces have different like rules, like the way the different states do. So the Canadian mental health amendment to their constitution is from 2019, sir. It's extremely modern. It was updated and overhauled so that no one could be mean to people on social media. If you start, and this is the only country at social media alone, no real life action has to be connected to it. If you pick someone and you become a nemesis to them and you go 2 or 3 years fixating on them over and over on social media, while also seeking out large parent threads. Guys, I'm going to give you guys a little lesson right now. Don't do this in real life, and definitely don't do it if you live in central Canada. Here's the deal. Don't go to big parent threads and pick fights that are unassociated with you to tell people that you think they're pieces of garbage, or that you hate them, or that you'll always have a problem with them. You know what? You already know it, and you're not going to change them. All that's going to happen is X will slowly deprioritize you to the point you're screaming into the void. Now, it would be very easy if one were weak-willed to be thinking that, one, the XTOS is real life law, and that X is the whole world, and if you get away with it on X, then you'll get away with it in the real world, and to do a bunch of nefarious things and post a manifesto. Or something like that. So what would happen then is you would be helped to a place where you would be removed from the thing that you were having a problem with, because according to them, did you know this? In Canada, social media is an addiction.
Well, that's not untrue.
Well, they treat it very seriously. They don't want it spreading. So, masks apparently won't stop the social media addiction from spreading. It's a disease, though. There's 12 steps programs for it. But apparently, if you act out long enough and you have to be, run in for being nuts on social media, let's say you just hate everything about whose flag is flying in the central non-West. Maybe it's related to your heritage or something. And you just go to every thread that has a Palestinian person and go, false, 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 and do that reliantly. If you somehow get to the point where you do that, say 60, 70 times in an hour, after doing it 10 to 15 times a day for years and years and years, it'll look like you're nuts. And you will then be taken to a place where you will be assessed as not being allowed to have social media. And it comes in 5-year chunks, according to the Mental Health Association. From what I was able to glean from my research, if you're outside Calgary, it's really the only place in the whole world that you could rage and do nothing violent in the real world and get banned from social media for life. Did you know that, sirs?
I did not.
I did not.
Chilling, isn't it, to think that someone could go decades addicted to X and then get pulled off of it because they went nuts and posted 75 times in an hour and then had that turn into, whatever. Imagine your last post is you're in the middle of the rage tweet session and the cops just haul you off. But there we go. That's the end of the Soong trilogy. Or do we call it the Augment trilogy? What do you tell? And by the way, tomorrow's a Jets game, so I wear my Jets hat and a Black Sabbath t-shirt, because every Sunday where the Jets play is indeed a Black Sabbath, my friends. The blackest of Sabbaths tomorrow. Maybe the Jets will wear their black uniforms. Who are they losing to tomorrow? I don't even know. Send back the Bengals, please. They'll be last place football at the Meadowlands tomorrow.
They're going to be losing to the 9-4 Jacksonville Jags in Florida. Carl.
You know, how did the Jacksonville Jaguars survive being called that name? And why would you ever lift the cheer from the New York Jets when you're a football team? They go Jags, 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 Jags. And I'm like, okay, that's our cheer. And I get that you would want to take it, but why would you ever want to do anything like the Jets do? Do you want to be cursed? It's like, yeah, let's change to all green uniforms too. It's like, yeah. So anyway, welcome to the part of the show where Admiral Teag vents briefly about the conspiracy in the NFL. And now it's time to grade the episode. I had a great time watching this one. I thought it was great Star Trek all the way through. And we had a real fun time with it. Episode 1 was great. Episode 2 was a really good episode 2. It couldn't stand alone. It couldn't be judged by itself. The question for that one was, is this a good episode 2? For episode 1, it was a strong start. We gave you guys, is Brett Spiner good enough to do this acting? And people agreed that he was good enough, and it was probably the limit of his abilities. Although Brent Spiner might prove that no one is good in Kurtzman Trek. Maybe no one is good in Kurtzman Trek. Because he sucks. He sucks in Kurtzman Trek as his own great-great-grandson. And, like, what's with Data's family? Like, really strong DNA to always look like Soong? Aravik Soong has such strong DNA.
It's that alpha, energy that he has.
The strong nose.
Real energy.
He has high cheekbones. They go through generations, even at 0.0005%.
Well, JT was wondering if Abby Bramwell, who plays our female replicant or auglicant or replement, whichever you want to call them, our female augment, Persis, had such high cheekbones. He was wondering if she was part Guardian.
Maybe.
She was really hot. She was really hot. She was really sexy. She was really dangerous, and she was a pretty good actress. So here we go. Let's talk about this episode.
She also played a Suliban.
She did?
She's really hot.
Yeah. That's what it's saying.
Was she the Suliban that makes out with Archer?
No, that's the slug creature woman, because that woman turns into Stephanie Nizlicki.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. It was a hallucination. It was a total hallucination.
I was going to say, like, it must have been, like, very recent, because this actress just was legal to drink last week.
Right.
Yeah. Only the Jets, they're the 1:00 Sunday football game every week, unless someone has to play on Thursday. I remember the year that the whole season fell apart in like 10 days. It was like a Monday game, a Thursday game, and a Sunday game followed by a Thursday game with the week off, and like the Sunday game was just like it was over by the end. 3 losses in a row. So boom, boom, boom. So here we are, guys. We just watched this entire Star Trek movie event. It consisted of 3 different episodes. It was one clean story. It kept the episodic quality. I thought that was pretty cool. But why don't we share our thoughts? You know what? Germ's not here. There's no need to be too structured about it. We can go tangential. But I'll call on JT first. Mr. Kirk, tell me about this episode and give me a grade.
Sure. So this is obviously the conclusion to the Augment arc. I'll call it the Augment series, not the Soong series, or the Augment trilogy. I think
this. I'm calling it Augment Runner.
I love this conclusion. I love the discussions that are had between Soong and the Augments, and Soong and Archer, and just all of the different things that they've been tossing around about the ideas of having augments and experimentation with people that bring up questions that kind of explain why you shouldn't do it. And I love the action. I love the lighting in the sets. I love the CGI in here. The story keeps moving. The plot seems to make sense where it needs to. This feels like the last hour of a movie. And I wish in a certain way that if this were an Enterprise movie, that they would have made this into one. we even get a little bit more than a movie from the length, maybe about Wrath of Khan length, somewhere around in there. I love their tribute to a lot of other pieces of Star Trek. I know some people might consider it a little bit member-berry-ish.
I think it makes it the fan service. I think it graduates to fan service.
Okay. Especially the ending there where they mirror the end of the Wrath of Khan on the bridge. I just thought that was so cool that they were able to do this, yet they didn't lift and copy everything. A lot of problems we have now with TV shows and movies in other media is that they just directly copy something else without doing anything original. In the ending,
right? This isn't Force Awakens in the least.
Exactly. Thank you. Great example. This did something original with the ending. It also kind of tongue-in-cheek a little bit at the end said, okay, so this is where you're going to have your family make a data at the end, which, I mean, come on, that was always a question we had on this. There's just so much to like about this. I could talk about it for an hour, but we've already been going over this for long enough. This is my favorite episode of Enterprise. It goes just over the Mirror episode by a hair, but I'm giving this an A+, 100.
Wow. Perfection.
Yes.
Whoa. The
For
actual
Enterprise,
meme.
This is the best they could do.
You are the most
possibly do.
stringent. If there were 20 top Star Trek episodes from the entire franchise across all 6 shows, is this in the top 20?
It's in the top 10 for me. Sure.
Wow.
Sure.
I think it's probably in the top 50.
Well,
for me,
zero,
for sure.
zero up here from Voyager. I think 1 or 2 from Deep Space Nine. You're looking at like 5 from TOS, and what does that leave?
I think Bride of
2 or
Chaotica
3
makes it
from
into the
TNG.
top.
That'll be in the
20.
top 20. No, Voyager has a lot in the top 20 for me in that space. But I'm talking about top 10. Half of those are going to be TOS.
They're almost all
from Enterprise. You know,
you got to really split hairs to start supplanting TOS episodes. There's 70 some odd of them, and like the 10 strongest ones are some of the best television ever made.
I mean,
but
maybe
there are
in reality,
TNG episodes that are
in Soong
better and
Cell,
more complex too.
If you sat me in Soong Cell and forced me to rank every single one, maybe it would surprise you. But to me, right now, this is the best Enterprise episode.
Guys, RRTNZ got his wish. We didn't grade the episodes one at a time. It was, can Brent Spiner handle it? Is this a good episode 2? And this one is for the whole enchilada. What grade do you give the Enterprise Soong Augment trilogy? Right now, the choices are an uncontroversial A, sirs, 42%. B, sirs, 37%. A controversial C, 11%. It's a very controversial D or F, sirs, 11%. Still tracking that way. But, okay, so you love this one. I think it's time to hand it off to my friend Sean Carter. Sean, you're in the hot seat. What do you think of this episode of Enterprise? What grade have you for it?
I give this an A for sure. I don't know about 100. I can see where someone would. But I mean, gosh, 97, 98. I mean, this thing. I mean, you guys have said it all. This trilogy here, these 3 are probably the 3 strongest episodes we saw in the entire series, and the strongest, one of the strongest stories, and the strongest 3 consecutive. I mean, the odds of having all 3 episodes of a trilogy be an A all the way across is pretty low. And it's really sad when you look at this, like, look what they were capable of doing and what did we miss out on. That's really sad. But I'm glad we have this. It's so good. Not much else to be said, really. Hey, 97.
97. All right.
97.
Okay.
Germ also gave it an A before he beamed out. He's liking this one too. Everyone dug this one, and so here goes Admiral. I'm not going to shock anyone with my grade. I will also give it an A. I'll give it a 95. I don't want to give it 100. I think I give the whole series 100. There's a case to be made and an understanding for how this could be 100. And there might be no difference between the 100 and the 95. Honestly, this is like saying we have the top 5 golfers in the world. It's like, and we're not going to let you watch them, but we're going to show you their scorecard and you're going to tell us which one is which. It's like you wouldn't be able to. They're indistinguishable.
Yeah.
It's number 1 and number 5. Like, it's like there's almost no difference. But like number 1 and number 60, you'll be able to tell. I don't know how else to put it, but this doesn't get my highest of A's, but I thought the whole Soong trilogy was fantastic Star Trek. For a while, I didn't know if it was Star Trek. I was like, it's something. I don't know what it is. By the middle of episode 2, my thought was, it might not be good Star Trek, but this is really good TV and really good sci-fi. And then by this final episode, they tied it in with Star Trek so nicely and made such a good Star Trek story out of it, with that Blade Runner element added in to change up the augments and make them a little more interesting, that I was kind of like shocked that it was so good and thrilled to do it, thrilled to see how they changed it. And I liked the uniqueness of the story and how they had changed the augments from the first batch we see, that they have a different set of, skills, but maybe less skilled. It does make sense that it would be a little easier to deal with a ship full of angry teenagers who are super strong and super smart. It's like, oh my God, like a bunch of people as smart as Peter Parker with no, a bunch of Peter Parkers are on a fucking ship. In this world, quite honestly, it's not much more dangerous than them taking on a bunch of Romulans. The thing about the augments is they're only as smart and as dangerous as the average Romulan, which is why the JJ Into Darkness movie fails badly. It's about the interrelationship between the villain and our Starfleet heroes. So in the case of Wrath of Khan, we got Space Seed. So we have a deep history, a deeply planted seed, if you would, of Star Trek with Space Seed. And when we bring him back and Kirk is like, the viewer comes on, it's like, God, you remember, I can't help but be touched. I, of course, remember you. I mean, just absolutely fantastic. And to evoke that and play around with it and change it a little bit, this main Auglicant, this replicant, he was good. He wasn't Ricardo Montalban. He's not going to give a Ricardo Montalban-like performance. However, he has had a Ricardo Montalban-like career. He's been in a million TV shows and movies. He's been extremely successful, and he's a top-quality actor. And you know what? Get out of my chair. He's a top-quality actor. It's really good, and I was impressed with everyone's performance. I didn't think there was any weak acting through these 3 episodes. We had, I would call episode 2, Cold Station 12, is basically the part of Wrath of Khan that we don't see. It's J.J. Abrams or Kurtzman had done it. It would have been really horrible. If Wrath of Khan was a Kurtzman movie, it would have just been called Regular One. And it would have been all about what happened for like an hour on Regular One, where Khan was like chopping people up. It's
tearing
like,
up the station.
I like your eyes. It's like, where I'm sending you, you won't need eyes. Can't you see how pointless it is? Being Khan. It was like basically, the episode Cold Station was, if it was the Regular One part of Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
It was what we didn't see from Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, Malik is way more reckless than Khan was. That was his downfall. Khan's downfall was his obsession, his Moby Dick thing, the anti-Moby Dick.
Yeah, and this guy just had Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Yeah.
Sure. Exactly.
He had an intensity equal to Ricardo's as far as his replicant psycho killer vibe. He was as crazy as that character that way, but he didn't have the methodical nature. He was ruthless. He was like the young Nazi as opposed to like, the Gauleiter or the higher up one, Mustache Man himself, In the movie Downfall, there are like teenage Yahtzees at the end of the movie. And they're like ready to fight to the death. And like one of their fathers like tries to drag them home. And that one's a triple documented true part of the story. And it's just crazy. That's what these repliments remind me of. They've taken some replicant and they've mixed it into the augment thing by having the augments be young, by having them be less educated, and by having them be just a lot more like they resemble the replicants in their clothing. They've got these torn up crazy goth clothes, and the way they're like beating on people and much more physical. Yeah, Khan and Kirk mix it up. But these replicants, I mean, they are brutal, and also they have something that Ricardo's band didn't have. Ricardo and his guys, they wanted to dominate the human race, and they wanted power over Earth now. These repliments, they want to kill they want to delete all the humans.
Yeah, that was the difference, yeah.
Yeah, they fear and hate humans. Ricardo scoffed at and wanted to dominate humans.
And there was a measure of diplomacy with him, because even he goes, one man would have ruled. He was more interested in power instead of killing. Yeah,
rule them all. He was out of a bunch of Hitlers. He was a Napoleon.
Yeah, he wanted
That's
to rule.
basically what we got from it. He did want to rule. The thing was like, what did they say? Scotty goes, as much as it bothers me, and it's an A, by the way, in my opinion, guys. It's an A, and it's like a 95. I think I said that one. But Scotty's like, as much as it bothers me to admit it, I always had a wee bit of admiration for this one when they're thinking it's Khan. And Spock is like, oh, gross. And they're like, there were no maskers under his rule, and there's little freedom, So they give the whole case there. And that's when Spock drops the line, with superior ambition, with superior intellect and superior strength comes superior ambition. And we stay true to that, but we layer on as interesting and borrowed, but not cheaply borrowed, well borrowed sci-fi idea of the replicants. They don't have the vampiric quality. They're just...
they're pricks.
Yeah. They are merciless pricks. They're like very young Yahtzees, or they're like, guards at like, Schwitt's house. They would have a great time at Nuremberg. That's all I'm going to say. So that's it for this episode as far as our thoughts. It's a great episode. It's a great series of episodes. The middle one doesn't stand alone. You could walk away from 1 or 3 only having seen that one, but watch all 3. They're great. They're great episodes. They don't slow down in the middle. So I asked Germ this question, and now I'm going to ask it to my esteemed panelists here with me. Sirs, does what we saw in the Xindi series, the Xindi season, and what we see here in this season with the 3 and 4 episode arcs, I think 5's the most we go, right? Do we ever go 5, or is 4 the most? But we're doing a lot of 3 and 4 clumps of episodes. Does this make these people uniquely qualified to do a streaming show that would work? They kind of were doing streaming type stories almost already. They were like about halfway there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The DNA is interesting there, question.
Sure. JT, tell us about your thoughts. Both of you, expand.
JT here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Admiral, your question was, I was listening, but what was your question? Restate.
The question is, because of the way the final season goes and what we saw in the Zindi season, we see people now writing 3 and 4 episode cluster stories, right? A cluster of episodes to make up a story. Do we have in Sussman and Company a group of writers who might have cracked and decoded a unique formula that is extremely well suited to streaming television? Give these guys 6 episodes. They'll cover 3 months of Paramount and it'll be good.
Well, I don't know if they cracked anything new. Back then, I think miniseries were more of a thing than they are today, right?
If miniseries influenced streaming more than other streaming shows did, streaming would work out better.
I think this was more of a miniseries type format, which back then might have not been that revolutionary. However, the way they did this might be a great way for them to think about doing streaming. And it might, if you're talking maybe Star Trek or beyond, you would look at this and say, okay, the 10 episode season model every 3 or 4 years is dead. It doesn't work. People don't like it.
So.
I think it's a dead format. They're going to keep doing it,
will
right?
Work for
but
it's
a dead preference for people.
It'll work for some stuff. If you can get your 10 episodes out annually, that's a big difference.
Which they can't do, and so it's a dead model. It really is a dead model because look at stuff. Well, but you look at stuff like The Witcher or some other things where it's taking a decade. Well, I'm not saying to watch it, but it's taking like a decade to get 4 seasons out. Or look at The Mandalorian. It's taking a decade to get 4 seasons out. And you're only doing 10 episodes, right? It is going to take you a decade to do what they did in 1 year of TNG in terms of episode count. Maybe this isn't a way to keep the audience because people move on. But if you can tell a smaller story that's a 3-hour arc like this, and you make one every 9 months, you get 3 more episodes out. You might keep people far more interested. It's a very interesting idea when you explore it. I don't know how the financials would work, or how you keep actors around with that kind of a break and bring them back. You'd have to think of some flexibility in the current model and how Hollywood works. But I would definitely be more apt to follow a show that put me in a spot where I get 3 more episodes every 6 to 7 months. 6-7 months. Yeah. Yep.
I got to agree. It sounds like you're saying, hey, look, those are the facts, but I have some alternative facts for you. Okay, well, we're just about ready to wrap up here. I would just ask Sean, you still want to play with death and ask our audience if they want us to watch Starfleet Academy? Because we're going to end up watching it.
Oh no!
If we ask them, they're going to throw us to the wolves.
I'd like to know what they think. But like I said, I'm gonna watch it just for the lulz anyway.
Here's what I propose. I'll watch it, but it's the same rule for New Trek. I'm not watching that alone. If we watch it on my other channel together and then come here to review it, I'll watch it.
Now,
I'm not going through that alone.
If you did beer, if you made a drinking game and did like beer shots, always drink responsibly. You couldn't even do beer shots because you'd hit.
No, you die.
You would do a 30-pack in about an hour, and yeah.
40 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
You could do shots of beer.
Oh, God.
Oh, you still wouldn't make it.
You would need
ever done a power hour,
from
Sean?
Johns Hopkins and an engineer from MIT to figure out how to keep you alive through that.
Power hour is 60 shots of beer in an hour.
We used to do that at Stony Brook.
Do that. Most people cannot do
that. It's weird how hard it is to do 60 shots of beer in an hour.
Yeah.
It's only about 12. It's about 9 or 10 cans.
That's a lot of beer in an hour, my friend. But see, that's the problem.
It's really not.
You would exceed that interval in Starfleet Academy.
My friend,
no matter
I'm
what
Latino and Irish.
Oh well. Yeah. Okay. I also Warp's Academy is a go. Radioactive. We don't know if we're going to stream the show. That's the real thing. We might watch it in anger and hate and fear and the dark side.
If we have to
in
watch
our
it,
own
we
house.
are absolutely going on this channel to talk about how bad it was. There's no way I'm going to watch that and not go rant for like a half an hour, or I'll end up with a lifetime social media ban.
Part of me doesn't want to watch it and just watch Disparu take years off his life watching it for us.
More
right?
like Disparu, like upgrade his income status and end up with a fucking house. Yeah, with Velma, his reviews were longer than the show.
Oh, I know.
It was. I was dying through the hour. The hour of the Velma
We're fans of
review.
that channel on this program, folks. He's
I
not paying us
laughed until
anything,
my ribs
unfortunately.
hurt.
But we are big fans of him on this show.
Disparu, are you from the town the Beatles are from? You sound like Paul McCartney sometimes. When he talks about someone being like when he talks about like some of these female characters and like how they're like just like crazy, but she's like, she's a bit of a bint, isn't she? And I'm like, I have no idea what that means, but it's hilarious. It sounds like Paul McCartney. It's like I wish I learned I learned how to speak and understand English to listen to Disparu.
Yes.
He doesn't speak very good American.
Well,
Hogwarts Academy. Here's the thing. Radioactive is saying its official Hogwarts Academy is a go. Here's the thing. We don't know that the show will happen still.
Yeah, we still don't know.
We still are sticking to the rule. It doesn't happen until it's not even real until the episode finishes airing.
We don't have people calling us at 3 a.m. with, quote unquote, secret information. So we couldn't tell you. We could not tell you. We're still.
But we will have the Tachyon Pulse on this program.
Really?
Not on this program, but on my channel. Although this would be something like 3:30 to 6:30 in the morning for him. You couldn't do this show.
Say what you will about the channel and what you like about his topic or what he covers. I think he's still a stand-up guy. So we might
seemed
joke
to have
around
personal
with him.
honor when he talked to me.
Yeah.
I might not leave there believing is the Teag review a go? It's like 70% of the way there.
Could be.
I believe that Tachyon Pulse has personal honor, and I believe that he will. I don't believe he's personally lying to me. And here's the thing: I don't think he's going to deny this. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I was intimating this to him, and he was signaling that he sort of didn't disagree with me. I was like, "Are you saying that you're maybe a forecaster?" Because that's what I do. I sort of forecast what's going to happen with Star Trek, and I end up being right a lot. For instance, on September 26th, I believe it was, of 2024, Germ and I aired a live stream called Is Alex Kurtzman Fired? And we said, the Paramount sale is held up. No one can fire him. He's unfireable right now, which was true. We also said, we think that if the sale goes to the Skydance people, he's gone already. And we'll know his fate no matter who buys the company. They're not going to tell us plebeians right away that it wouldn't look very good at all. It'd be bad for the natural order of things, But no, they're not going to tell us right away. And they're going to do it Hollywood style. And also, he may have the remnants of a contract that we're never going to see. And these are some of the things that are starting to go through my mind. We already know, courtesy of Midnight's Edge, and good luck for them. I'm very upset to hear about the Tom Connors Midnight's Edge situation.
The Mead channel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tom, I'd invite you on, but I'm afraid.
Well, I know that they got Nerdrotic. The Nerdrotic's causing the attention to be paid to it, so I'm sure.
Oh, if I had him on to support that channel, I would get struck and he would be restored and I would never get back and he'll be fine. Believe me.
You say that it's probably more.
I hope it happens. No, I hope that Nerdrotic. I knew that Nerdrotic knew him, and I know that everybody is talking to everybody about getting Midnight's Edge back on. And if I understood correctly, people were saying he has to find some infinitesimal piece of dialogue that's on a shared channel that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks that they don't
defending
tell you.
dialogue wasn't specified and on a shared channel. It's a good thing Tom doesn't talk 5 hours a day, 3 days. Oh, wait. Shit.
Yeah.
What do you do but delete all your old stuff?
I don't
I
know.
can't believe they don't tell you what it is that triggered it. That's ridiculous.
They're trying to get rid of all of us. I think that's why they got rid of the names and went with the handles. They want to break up the sense of community. A lot of people don't have their handle as their name and stuff like that. A lot of this seems to be going after the sense of community. And a lot of people have not decoded how to do Mars yet. Guys, don't tell the other YouTubers. I'm just going to run Mars for a little while. Maybe next week I'll go back to pure landscape. I'm not passing on those tasty waves of huge engagement. And if anybody here found this because of the vertical stream, let me know. But that stream is just going to be unlisted after the show. That's why it's really important to get the likes on the landscape stream. This is the secret sauce that makes the Star Trek work better. This show will get up to... you guys have seen this. Monday is our biggest view day. It's strange. Tuesday is the second biggest view day. Sunday's number 3, which is weird. This show has a fucking incredible afterlife. And for those of you who listen to us later, thank you. Thank you very much. And you can make a difference too. You can just like this show. At 30 likes, YouTube seems to increase the impressions about 25% more. And Sean and JT have seen it, and you guys have seen it. There's a couple of Saving Star Treks that hit 1,000 before the next show. It's uncanny, especially the first season of Enterprise stuff. A lot of real viral streams from that one in my niche. I guess we're called nanoviral this time. But we'll get back to you about Starfleet Academy. And I guess the last thing we'll talk about before we go, and we will, is there was a disagreement at Paramount, sirs. Did you hear about what happened to the woman who did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I did not.
All right.
I heard something. I can't recall though.
Okay, I'll refresh you. Here's what it is. Mutant Mayhem, the last Turtles thing was Seth Rogen. They couldn't even get the cool Rogen. They didn't get Joe Rogan. They got Seth Rogen. And they didn't even get the good Seth Rogen. They got the real Seth Rogen. The good Seth Rogen is Jonah Hill. You want the funny Seth Rogen, just hire Jonah Hill. People can't tell them apart anyway. But he said to the woman who released Mutant Mayhem, "You fucking devalued the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with that fucking garbage." And it looked shitty, and Germ hated it, and I couldn't bring myself to watch it. It looked so shitty, and I was sure that Donnie was going to be gay. And it was just like, it was so sucky, and like, you know, they're just sucking, like, sucking. Just sucking. It's just the worst. When I saw that first Mutant Turtles movie, I was like already, you know, I wasn't like kids movie age, but it wasn't really a kids movie. I was like, this doesn't look anything like New York City, but I'll accept this movie that has people. It's like, no, like there was only one part of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that really broke what went into the uncanny valley. The turtle suits, amazing. The animatronics, amazing. The fighting and stuff, amazing. But like when they turned that pizza sideways and put it through the slots in the sewer, that no self-respecting New Yorker would ever allow that. That broke that just a little bit too unbelievable there. But aside from that, great. So he told her, "You devalued the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with that piece of shit," and like I agree. And Ellison stormed off, and like this was a premiere of something else, and so they did the right thing, Sean. They went to HR, and they told them that the way that they were talked to made them feel very sad. Oh, God. So HR called Ellison about how he disrespected, and I'm not positive it was even a woman, but the name was hard to tell. I think it was a woman, but HR called him and say, you know, "You terrible person, you hurt these people's feelings," and he's like, "Clean out your desk, goodbye," and then he's like, "Get them in my office now." And they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to go get my apology." And he's like, you know what? Fuck you! And fuck your feelings. And you're like being disciplined right now for having feelings about being yelled at. You devalued something. You had hundreds of millions of dollars to fucking work with, and you fucked up. We're going to run this like a business. This is not going to be run. This is not a touchy-feely academy. This is not like, nice school. It's not called fucking fun. It's called work. And when you fuck something up that's worth money, that cost me money, that I just spent money to buy, you know what? If I feel like you're an asshole, I'm going to say fuck you to you. Fuck you. Now get out of my office. I don't care how you feel. And then he called back to HR people and he said, do me a favor. You got 2 more weeks to stick around to fire the DEI people. And then he just hung up on them. And that was the end of that story. Yeah, he disciplined the person for complaining about hurt feelings. Told him to get over it. I'm loving that. I'm done screaming.
I couldn't find it because you reorganized.
I moved it back to the top where it makes sense. The transporter and the patent stuff is up top. We will save Star Trek. I want to thank Michael Sussman for congratulating me on 3,000. Thank you.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Thank you for Enterprise, and thank you for Star Trek United. United we stand. Mr. Sussman, I figured that sooner or later you would find the loudest, most consistent, cleanest, pretty much, as far as these things go. There's no drama here. We don't do hate streaming. I have no enemies. There's none of that stuff.
The cleanliness is not in the private chat.
No, and we joke around like the high school students we are inside. It's our Saturday night, and we choose to do it with something we love, Star Trek. And you know what? It seems like Michael Sussman gets us the way we get him.
Admiral Sir, I do have some intel footage on what happens if you go a little too Lord Garth with things here. If you could make
Lord Garth.
So, if you're saving Star Trek and maybe you lose your marbles, Wolf 359 was an inside job. Tuvix lives. Disco is canon, and Dr. Pulaski is the best. Yeah, there you go.
She's okay, but she's definitely not the best. Although I'm starting to think she's a better actress.
No, I found this on the X.
I've seen that.
Top shelf. Yeah.
I'm going to just say this one right now. Dr. Pulaski is not the best actress, but she's a much better actress than Gates McFadden is until like season 4.5. Gates McFadden just like jaw-droppingly bad here and there. Jaw-droppingly bad here and there in season 1 and 2. I'm not the only one. It's an unpopular opinion because she's so good looking, but whoa. What the hell happened?
She had a lot to work with either in season 1, but yes.
She wasn't experienced like Patrick Stewart, who was going through hell trying to make it believable. And let's face it, she was a looks-based hire because she was like a dancer, not an actor. And she was just really hot. I mean, she's probably in the Dark Crystal as well. She's like, I was Skeksis number 2 and Gelfling 3.
She was also had a very a one-line role in the
Muppets Take
Hunt for Red October.
Yes, and here's the thing: her part ran overtime really, really, really bad. I think they filmed a bunch of shit with her and burned it. I think the idea was that the Jack Ryan movie would have a component with the wife and the family, and Alec Baldwin sticks the landing. He's good in that movie. It's like almost like the kind of person who could hit 2 people with 1 bullet kind of skill. And like Gates McFadden might have just sucked. Like we saw, like she's not bad after the middle of season 2. But she doesn't get real good till like the middle of season 3 is my assessment. I don't know how you guys feel about that one.
A lot of it could have been the writing too. They gave her better stuff to do in the later part of the series.
On another Star Trek broadcast, not this one and not one from our orbit, Enterprise incidents, somebody said, One thing that was great about The Next Generation was we brought back the original Star Trek guys. But one thing that you could feel running through it, and I would say look at some of the outfits we see on Tasha Yar and on Decker's girlfriend. We have guys born in the 20s who dig stuff from the 30s, who came of age in the 40s, who were like in the swing of things in TV in the 60s, writing in the 90s. And I was like, oh my God, that does make so much sense. They're still really good, but all of that's in there.
Yeah.
All that.
100%.
Like Ilea's Flapper Girl outfit in Star Trek The Motion Picture. Where she has it's like, would you like to go to Ilea's cabin and see her things? Ilea sometimes liked to wear a bow on her head like an asshole. Would you like to wear a bow on your head like an asshole? Ilea was an asshole. She just, Ilea enjoyed sexual stuff of mischievous nature. Do you also like to take off most of your clothes, robot replicant lady? She might be the first replicant. Rest in peace, Perseus Asius, or whatever your name was. Did the curtains? Was there no curtains and no drapes? That's all I want to know.
Wow.
Sean's dying.
Direction I did not anticipate putting this thing up here on the screen.
Sean has been training to be able to handle going the distance with Admiral Teag. He can take a few jokes out of nowhere.
Alrighty.
All right,
here,
guys.
I'm going to take it off the stage.
Yeah, guys, what's going on your channels, sirs? Sean, what do you got going on? Dixon Cider. What's it like to be in the presence of the man who has the greatest YouTube name of a group of people? Everybody was trying to have a great name, and he just put us all to shame.
Grabbed it, yeah.
Almighty starships crushed.
He's a really cool dude, man. I'll turn on the camera. And I got it here. What he brought over to me.
I don't know. Dare we look? Marion, don't look. Oh, well, hold on. Don't put it away. Hold on. What's in big in that? Optimus Prime making an appearance on my show.
It's Soundwave.
It's Soundwave.
And Frank Welker signed it right here.
Oh, wow.
Frank Welker voiced
cool.
Megatron and Soundwave and Rumble and Ravage and all that.
We can see the Grinder app is open, Sean, in the glass of the Transformer. Meeting that guy in the gas station in half an hour, are you? Wow.
Just tap your foot under the stall for a couple of times.
Is it true you took a wide stance, Sean?
Sean,
actually,
huh? I was gonna say, is this accurate? We termed you last week as our the community's biggest Transformers fan.
Oh, okay.
Or an expert. Yeah.
Last trans standing.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, no. The app wasn't Grinder. It was my handler, my dealer. He has an ice cream truck up on the corner, and if you go up and ask for 10 Abba-Zabbas, he'll hook you up.
I have a guy who just comes by and gives me weed, and when I can't afford to get a whole bunch at once, I just run across the street to the bodega. They sell weed at the bodega across the street. What can I tell you? And every bodega in New York. So what do you got coming? You have anything cooking this week?
Nothing personally. I'm still trying to find time to come out here and work on the Voyager, but my mom's in town, so God, it's been like 2 months since I posted a model video. But I think we are going to be reviewing Christmas Vacation on Wednesday on Pop Culture Breakdown.
Saw that movie in theaters and it got laid from my date afterwards, so I fucking think it's great. She was all fired up after that movie.
The last movie
Admiral 3-Pack is in it. Admiral 3-Pack's in it, and she's hot.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Carol Kim was good looking young.
The last movie where that happened for me was Wayne's World. In
Wayne's World?
That was the last time that happened to me after a movie. 1992, Valentine's Day.
The one movie I missed the end of because There was the one movie that was too long that almost ruined it. Dances with Wolves. I was just like, okay, yeah, we can leave before the end. I was like, shit, this is such a good movie, but I'm not missing this. What 2 movie tickets? I'm not going to see the end, but I'm going to see some. We're going to see some boobs. All right.
We know how Dances with Wolves ends. We end up with a renamed baseball team.
Dances with Guardians. Guys, again, we love you all. It's holiday season. Sean, in just 2 weeks, the Saving Star Trek team reviews The Cage as we roll into year 60 of Star Trek. Wow.
Ooh, should I announce the thing I sent you or talk about the thing I sent to you guys?
Sure.
I'm happy to. So everyone here, I've decided to write a story. I am penning. I think it'll turn out to be a novella.
I thought you meant the butt plug meme.
The what?
I thought you meant the butt plug meme.
So did I.
No. The story that I'm writing.
I don't care about that, but go ahead and tell people anyway. I cared more about the butt. The butt plug was awesome. It was a USB stick and a butt plug. Go ahead. What was that Crimline who talks?
You just got to make sure not to drop it in the water.
Oh no! Oh.
No, I'm writing a story. It's going to be about how Captain Pike got his first command of the Enterprise, and I'm going to
decent.
Thank you. My mom read it; she liked it, and it's basically going to be Robert April, as we know he should be. As we saw him in the animated series, will be handing over the reins.
In other words, a white guy.
You'll
be a
tale of overcoming discrimination and group preferences.
He's a vanilla fella.
And it's I won't go into any details, but it's based on a science fiction premise my son actually came up with, which is really interesting. So I'm going to work that into this story as Pike's first mission, and it's going to be good, guys. It's Star Trek. It's science fiction. It's no touchy-feely stuff. It's going to have everything that we talk about, that we appreciate about Star Trek on this show, and I'm just hoping it turns out good. So
go jump to chapter 4 of George Lucas's 30-day screenwriting challenge, where he talks about how you get ready to write.
Oh, you got to get the snacks, right?
Oh, he gets so passionate about talking about the food. He's like,
you're going to want to make sure you have a lot of Malamars there, because if you don't eat them a lot, you'll still have a neck when you're 60.
I'm not going to do the snacks.
I managed to eat until I have no neck, and I guess the thing
I
that's
don't
really
eat
the biggest
snacks
letdown
anymore,
about my
though.
book is it's not read in my voice. Sean, thank you for that stylistic picture of Dixon cider. JT, what's going on with Dad Man?
I don't think we're doing a Tuesday show. It's
I
up
think
in
he
the
has
air.
one less X follower, by the way.
Oh well.
Or soon will.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what's ahead for me this coming week. I hope to be with Dave on Wednesdays. We're still in talks on that. The holiday time is just jam-packed, right? So nothing to promote, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to do so.
I can't thank all of you enough for being my panelists and my chat and my friends. I want to thank hello, great Simon. Go ahead. Yes, you got here just in time. Sean, you know what? Start printing them.
3D print them? Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be allowed to, though. It's.
Welcome to the show. It's nice to see you.
You might have to sand them a bit, but I don't see why not, right?
I'm sorry I didn't shout you out when you came in. We get lost in conversation here sometimes. You know what's weird? It's uniquely American to acknowledge and shout out your chat. When I go hang out with all the Brits, they don't engage the chat the same way we do. It's different. It's not bad, better or worse, but it's different. And I learned how to speak English. I could understand them. I can even understand Northern English Bastard. And he's like, like really English. Guys, thank you all.
We need
for
you to
coming.
learn how to speak freedom again. Now that you've
That
learned how
is
to speak.
exactly
Yeah.
what he is.
Yeah.
And you want to see a guy wearing a stylish trilby, you got to watch Paulie, right? I guess Paulie's got a trilby. Is Paulie Cuban or Mexican?
Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to guess.
The hat's
I don't know.
Cuban. The hat's Cuban. So unless he's Cuban, it's cultural appropriation. Just want to make that clear.
Okay.
I'm allowed to wear the hat or a guayabera, but not a sombrero. But I will eat tacos. It's been a great show. I love you all. We went way over time tonight, but you're an awesome audience. Go now in peace to love and serve Star Trek. I thank everybody for being here. Let's close out your poll. We got 20 votes. And if we could get a few more likes, and we could squeeze out a few more, we would love that, because 30 is the magic number that really juices up the show afterwards. What grade would you give Enterprise Soong Augment Trilogy? An uncontroversial A, sirs, wins with 40%. B, sirs, with 35%, so 75% think it's a superior episode. A controversial C, 10%. It's a very controversial D or F, sirs. 15%. And with that, we end the poll with 20 votes. Thanks a lot for jumping in there, buddy. Thanks for being the best mod that we could get, and the best mod anyone could have. And
even though he hated the episode.
Yeah, he served with distinction despite hating the episode. I thought that was great. And Saving Star Trek is brought to you by the genius of Gene Roddenberry, which has been extended through people like Manny Cotto and Mike Sussman into Enterprise, which has been our pleasure to review for this year. As we get ready to go into the last, we only have 18 episodes left. I think if I count, 19 episodes left. Getting down to the wire with Enterprise, ladies and gentlemen, and the generosity of people like the Dead Man, RRTNZ, and Radioactive, all members of the Q Continuum. Thank you all. And here's to 3,000 more. I posted my victory video on X. It's Patton and Star Trek, and it's got the names of all my shows on it. And I kind of just like spiked it. Yes, thank you. I kind of just spiked the football on the rest of the world. To everyone who said I couldn't do it, to everyone who said that I wasn't that good, that I wasn't a Star Trek professional. You know what? You can go thinking whatever you want, whenever you want. We are the biggest independent Star Trek community, bar none. This is the best Star Trek show you're going to get, the best Star Trek punditry, and the most insane host of any of the Star Trek shows. Ladies and gentlemen, I go to bed and wake up crazy every day just so that I can come here for you to help save Star Trek. So I thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my cold, dark little mechanical heart to,
and it's very cold in space.
You haven't seen Wrath of Khan until you've seen it in the original Klingon. I watched it with, I did a talk with it with some of the British guys, and they had a more talking about how a great movie it was, and they didn't do like any real tangential dives. So I kind of got blunted before I could make my one point, and I would just make that addendum now. We saw that in this story. It's like the great stories. When the people in them won, it was all the better because they did everything they did for friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. And that's what the greatest stories and the greatest Star Trek are built on. So I thank you all, and I love you all. You guys are the best. And I will see you Tuesday night. Actually, no, wait. I have to go to sleep, wake up crazy, watch Landman, and come back here. Come back tomorrow, watch Landman at 7 p.m. with Resolute Germ, and then come to the review show here at 8 p.m. I love you all. And you know what? Sean made this great video. I love watching it. You've never sent me the picture of Sydney Sweeney. I want this picture of Sydney Sweeney.
I got to get it. I have it. It's in the room where my mom's staying. I don't spend much time on that PC right now. So
no, you can't. No. And you sprayed some alcohol on the keys before she came over. Let's hope.
Incoming Sydney Sweeney video. Set boners to full. Lubrication supply sufficient for projected fapping level. Paper towels to standby. Turbo lift door secured and locked. Wives and girlfriend interruption probability at 12%. You may commence masturbatory actions at any time.
Landman would point out your goddamn paper towels are in a petrochemical bag, and your water-based lubes in a petrochemical bottle. They're all put inside a truck with petrochemical made tires. I'm going to use gasoline to drive it around. God damn it! Here she is. You know her, you love her, you earned her. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Can I finish?